Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
How's it going?
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. And then we're going to give our opinions, talk about the guests, the talking points, this, that, and the next. But first, Kamar, how was your week?
I had a great week, Matt, but before I get into that, I'd like to start my new tradition of naming off the new Patreons.
I guess we got to add that to the board.
This week, we have Samuel Detour. Who came in
Keeping with tradition, you can't pronounce anyone's
who came
name.
in at $5, but then immediately edited it to $20.
Didn't
a
like
champ.
what he was
What a
getting.
boss, yeah. That was huge. And also, I can't fuck this up, Sean Jordan came in at $10.
Came back.
Oh, return customer.
Thank you, both.
Isn't that the guy you texted me about?
No,
Are you sure?
Yeah, Sean Jordan, the
I'm not
musician.
sure.
Very good
I'm not-
musician.
I'm not
Sean
sure.
Jordan music, yeah.
I'm not sure. But
Check out his shit.
he also informed that I was wrong about Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix did not play upside down. He played a right-handed guitar, flip lefty.
Hence the
But the
musician.
strings were strung the same as most guitars.
That's what Simon and I were saying, though, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure that's what we were
We
saying.
just said it's a...
I was
yeah.
confirming a correction.
No, I was just wondering what we had gotten.
Died at 27.
Died at 27.
27 Club, yes.
And also, fun fact, it was unique that he played extremely thin, low-tension guitar strings. So I guess he manipulate them more.
Interesting. What did I do?
Nothing.
Oh,
Just a totally useless fact, and then you told them that it was a good idea. I don't know.
And thank you, Alex Anathanakis and Gavin Workman.
Gavin, thanks,
and
man.
The
And
whole
everybody
Patreon
else.
crew keeping the lights on. You guys are amazing. But my week, I went down a crazy Manziel rabbit hole. You guys
Johnny
remember,
Manziel?
You guys remember Johnny Manziel?
yeah.
What's your opinion of him now?
Well, he was, he won the Heisman, did he not?
He won the Heisman, yeah. Youngest to ever win the Heisman.
And then he was terrible when he went for the Browns, didn't he?
He went to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. And he was a real fuck-up, wasn't he?
He was a real fuck up.
Well, from what I see, he's doing well, though, isn't he?
But do you know Johnny Manziel?
Johnny Football.
Johnny Football?
I don't know why we're talking about him, but I know him.
And how did you end up down a Johnny Manziel hole?
Because I saw a podcast with him.
Okay.
And this wraps the whole thing in. Is your back still sore? Yeah. I'm sorry. I won't waste your time too long. But it was a podcast with him, and it was really candid, and it sort of got me back to, like, you find out who someone is. This was like an hour and 20-minute conversation, but you get to know who a person is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just no way anyone, I don't think, in the world, maybe some actors could put on a facade. And he was very honest about the whole thing. He just liked partying more than playing football. But what happened to him is he won the Heisman when he was 18. And that summer, he was wearing a bunch of OVO clothing. And Drake invited him up. And he knew nothing from anything. He was just a college football player who was getting all this hype.
Some bumpkin from
From a small town in San Antonio. And he went to
a small town in San Antonio.
outside of San Antonio, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
And he went to hang out with Drake. And like, this is what I want my life to be like.
What a stupid, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, though. Because your life could be like that. If you played football at the level that you did in college, you would have that life.
I mean, I also have seen something on Johnny Manziel, not the same thing Kamar watched. This was years ago. But those kids who come from these, small towns inside of San Antonio, all they do is play football from the time they're in fucking Pop Warner until they get to college. I totally understand how you'd be like, fuck this noise. You know?
He just decided he didn't like football, and he was open how like he definitely fucked over all those players on the team going to Cleveland and not giving them 100% of himself.
Simon, what I'm
Partying
saying though
stuff.
is even if you're from that small town and all you know is football, and then you get there and you're like, fuck this. My point is you can play 5 years of football and then say, fuck this.
Totally.
If you're just smart about it, right?
I get
He
it.
decided that would not make him happy.
I just think that once you get to the NFL and you've been in college where for all intents and purposes you should be like a free man and they're still controlling you like you're in the army, and then you get to the NFL and you have all this freedom and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to fucking party like Drake.
And
You don't though. If you watch Pat McAfee show, once you get to the NFL, it's
no, he said being an NFL quarterback is the hardest thing he could possibly imagine. And he just got there and was like, I know I don't want to do this work. But if you see this interview, he's one of the boys. I swear to God.
yeah. But my question is like, what? So does he think Drake doesn't work? I'm just curious.
No,
like I assume
he-
Drake works his ass off.
He said, in my professional life, I don't want to be defined by football. I don't want to play football to make my money.
Fair enough.
It was just, he was very candid. He was pretty self-aware, and I bet after watching it, you probably like him.
Simon, how was your week?
You think Drake works his ass off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, we've had this discussion. I don't think you get to that level without putting in a fucking great deal of work. I just don't think it happened. I bet Justin Bieber puts in a lot of fucking work.
And he put in a lot of work. It just when he got to the NFL, I was like, I'd rather party than put in this work.
I mean, listen, I understand it from a standpoint of like, you know, your college years where you could have, or where most people were partying, you were fucking reading playbooks and shit. But I don't know.
Well, it's just
a
the
means
fact
to
he
an
would-
end.
They were probably partying in college.
I bet he
days.
was. That's what I'm saying. Is it seems like I don't know.
He got to the NFL like 21. And
So does he get that contract? No, because there are no guaranteed
he
contracts.
ended up
No, there's
getting
guaranteed contract.
No, his contract was 8.36 million. He ended up walking with something like 5
to
Simon?
not play.
to be cut.
Whatever.
Simon, rookie contracts don't tend to be.
Yeah, had he been smart, he could have gone one more year and got a big contract and then fucked off. He just really decided he doesn't want to be a football player.
Because Simon, there are guaranteed contracts in football now.
But didn't he? There are, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he end up in the CFL?
He came to the CFL.
So he obviously wanted to keep playing football. Like, I'm confused.
he got to the CFL because
I mean, listen, that's where it'll really test your resolve,
today he's 27.
right? Like,
Today he's 27, right?
Yeah.
So
after he decided he didn't want to play football, he
got
then decided
sort of
he
bounced
wanted
out
to play
and
football.
said, well, maybe I should play football. How do I get back into football? And one person said, go to the Arena Football League or go to the CFL, destroy it there, and then you can get back in. And then he was saying when he got to the CFL, it was 12 men on the field, bigger field. It just didn't suit his game, and it didn't work out for him. And that's when he realized he was done playing football.
All right.
But, I mean, he is an amazing athlete if you see him. He's 5'11", 200 pounds, like nothing special. Very exciting, very interesting. That was my week.
kind of a waste. Go ahead, Simon. How was your week?
Him talking about his week?
No, he's allowed to do whatever he wants with his time. He took some of yours, though, so you better be quick about it.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you... Oh, first of all, I'm off of social media.
Congratulations.
So anybody who's trying to reach me through social
I
media...
actually logged on to Instagram, and the first clip was an insane skateboarding clip.
You sent it to me and,
And I went to send it to you. No, and there was no Bigfoot Sighting
Yeah,
Society.
there isn't.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Anyways, so I'm
So I
not...
figured that out without
I'm
you
not
telling me.
ignoring anybody out there. There weren't very many people who were trying to reach me through Instagram, but if they were, you can't. So I'm sorry about that.
That's awesome news.
I feel great. Yeah. So 3 things I thought about this week. I don't want to talk about them, but I'm going to put them out there. And then if you guys want to talk about them, we can talk about them. Okay? We don't have
This
to.
all sounds
though.
very post-Joey, but okay, go ahead.
Well, because the post is useless to me now, Matt.
Okay.
Okay. So first thing.
Post-Joe is useless to me now, Matt.
It doesn't get the audience he needs.
I think these are important things that need to be talked about, you know? Okay, so first of all, I heard somebody talking about dog years, and it got me thinking, okay? So we have no idea how time works. Sorry,
Time is relative.
I'm going to say all these things.
Okay.
I'm just going to say them. We're not going to talk about them, and
Fair
then
enough.
we'll talk about them. Okay.
Okay.
Dog years, we have no idea how time works. We don't really understand how time works, let alone how time works for different creatures. What if, because dogs have a much shorter lifespan, time actually is so much longer for them, meaning like when you leave your house and your dog gets bummed and you're like, stop being such a little bitch. Maybe
because
it
you've
actually,
been gone for 4 days.
maybe it actually felt like 10 years to them. Like their lives are only 10 years long, let's say, for some breeds of dogs. So,
Well, they say that when you go to work for 8 hours, it's like you've left the dog, you've left for 3 days.
Well, we have no idea though. Like that,
I always
it
thought-
could be 10 years. We don't understand how.
Every time it wakes up, it's a new day to it. So it could sleep 5 times a day, and
Well, there you go. Maybe.
all these feeding the theory.
Okay.
We're not talking about it, Kamar.
Well, we can talk about it when it's done. We're all in agreement that there are probably aliens out there.
I agree.
Two kind of huge camps of how this would function would be: one, they're traveling from actual planet somewhere, or two, they're coming interdimensionally, okay? If they're traveling from planets, we're going to assume that whatever planet that they're coming from maybe is something close to Earth, but the chances of there being like 2 Earths exactly, I mean, they're probably...
We're going to assume that, but there's no reason to assume that.
What about Kepler 7b?
Right, but I'm just... Okay. Let's just put it this way. Let's say there was life on Neptune, okay? Neptune, I'm making this up here, but Neptune is colder than Earth, okay? So any creature that would be living on Neptune would be more adapted to the cold. I mean, that's pretty like basic reasoning, you know? So let's just say that there are aliens coming from different planets. One of those planets is a cold planet. Those creatures have adapted to the cold, and they look very much like a Wookiee. The Bigfoot sightings on Earth are those creatures. That is so not far-fetched. You know what I'm saying?
So how did they get acclimatized to our climate, given their fur, which is supposed to keep them warm in like minus, 4,000 centigrade?
What do you mean?
Well, you said they're from, in your...
Neptune was a bad example, I think.
First of all, wait a minute.
But it's
Wait a
not-
minute.
it's
I got to
not
ask.
It's not
A
Neptune.
warmer but cooler planet.
Right, exactly.
This is how your week was.
It's just something I thought about.
Okay.
And so, look, Wookiees is a perfect example because there's just a race of creatures in the star system.
Yeah, but Wookiees lived in the same climate, like give or take. Well, you're talking about Jupiter. Jupiter is like. Do you know what the
I
temperature
think
is?
choosing those planets is your problem.
Forget
It's
those.
too literal.
Forget those planets.
Fine.
Pick Kepler B. Maybe Kepler B is 8 degrees colder
Sure,
on the
fair enough.
norm
Now we're talking.
than Earth is. Those humanoid creatures never lost their fur because they needed it in the evolution, or however the fuck that works. What we're seeing is just an alien.
Mocha. Darth Vader died today, the guy who played him.
Yeah, I saw that.
You'd never know that, though. Because he's the one wearing a mask.
To me, he's
James Earl Jones.
Earl Jones anyways. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then last but not least, we look at like Machu Picchu or whatever, the Egyptian pyramids, and that's like the remainder of a skyline.
Mm-hmm.
Our skylines today are just an ancient civilization waiting to...
But will like water ground, and so you'll just see the top of the Empire State Building or whatever?
And then you wonder, like, are those
I don't see how
enough-
civilizations
strong
are built
enough
on top
to
of
survive, you know?
the construction
Yeah.
than just stone and whatnot.
And then maybe the things that do survive aren't the biggest skyscrapers, but like the smallest churches, because those were the things that were built with like artisan hand, you know? Anyways,
Oh, so you are suggesting there may have been...
You're not supposed to talk about it.
well, now I'm done. So you can
Oh,
choose
sorry.
if you want to, and if not, we can just start the show.
Well, I mean, we're 15 minutes in
Yeah.
and we haven't done anything. We haven't even gotten to my week.
How was your week?
We'll talk about
Who
the post
cares? Let's
You
go.
never talk about your
Yeah,
week.
because my weeks are never worth talking about.
But 1 week, just like one day Dave Chappelle was going to be on Rogan, you're going to have a great week. We wait for that day.
Yes, we do. All right. Well, let's start with rating the week, or go through the guests, and then we'll rate the week. How about that?
Sure. It starts off with 1569. Actually, this one was a little too close to home for me.
I bet.
The CEO of Whole Foods, John Mackey.
Okay.
I thought it was like a sick joke when I first saw it.
Too much of a coincidence, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was very weird.
Then we had 1570, a dark horse. Didn't see this one coming. Didn't know how much I'd enjoy it. Willie D and Mike Judge.
Let's be clear, though.
Willie D.
Willie D. Mike Judge was there less than Dave Chappelle was part of the Dave Chappelle episode. Far less. He might have said 15 words.
Yeah, one sentence.
He did a master's
said,
class
"I
in how
remember that story."
Donnell should behave when a guest on a podcast.
Yeah, but even weirder is like, with the RZA and Donnell there, you really don't want Donnell there. With Mike Judge there, first of all, you're like, can we get a little more backstory as to why exactly you guys are hanging out?
Well, I would just like Mike Judge on his own, frankly.
Well,
That
we'll
would
get
be a
that,
great
but that'll be
interview.
great. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to
Sorry,
that.
Keep going.
And then we finished with 1571, a death-defying mountain climber, Emily Harrington.
She's not death
Are you
defying. She
waiting for
uses
like,
ropes.
applause?
I
or
think
something?
anyone climbing rocks has got something there. And she fell off and smashed her face. I don't want to applause. That's the highlight of that podcast for me.
Yeah.
Was announcing it.
All right, well, let's rate it.
The week in general.
Please rate the week on a
I
scale
give
of 1 to
I
5
give
Jamie
it a
Vernons.
two Jamie Vernons.
I give it 2 Jamie Vernons as well.
I give it 3.5 Jamie Vernons.
That's the wildest rating ever, but okay, cool. I mean, I guess because
I
one of
can't
them
wait.
hit home.
I can't wait to find out.
I can't wait to find
Me
out
neither.
either. Maybe the listeners can't wait to find out either. All right, well, let's get it going.
Why are you staring at me like that?
Because you can't wait to see.
1569, John McKay.
So you know how people say, I lost my job and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. But a year later, like now when it happened, I thought it was so bad. And then a year later, I'd be like, thank God that happened. Well, this podcast is going to come out on the year anniversary of me getting fired from Whole Foods. And that is not the case.
So you wish you still had that job.
I think I still wish I had that job.
But no, see right there.
I think you're way better off.
I agree. And the fact that you said I think tells me that you're way better off.
Well, I think I'm going to need another year to be able to look back and say it really was the best thing that ever happened to me.
I mean, listen, I don't think a year is enough time.
No, but sometimes it is enough time for people, and I'm just saying I'm not that person. It's more trying to be funny than anything.
No, I mean, I'm with you. I get the joke. I like it. I think you should be happy that it happened.
But I felt like deep down inside, my boss wasn't that bad a guy.
Let me give you a little anecdote.
This
that might,
guy?
Because things changed when Amazon took over.
Yeah, we spoke about
And
that.
it was a
2
better
weeks ago.
company. It was a better place to work.
Yeah, I asked you that, remember?
Well, and that's to me is the crux of this whole podcast, this whole interview, whatever the fuck.
That
you
he's
wanna
just a
call it.
little bulldog for
Is that they never
Jeff
mentioned
Bezos.
Amazon? Like,
Wow, they mentioned-
it's
they
super
mentioned-
gross.
No, he did. He spoke about how he's like he said the beauty of when Jeff Bezos came in was that before Amazon owned them, the joke was whole check. You
Which
spent
I
your whole
can't
check,
believe- whole
at Whole
paycheck.
Foods, right? Whole paycheck.
I
Sorry.
can't believe Joe had never heard that.
I've never heard that either.
So I hadn't heard it either. But again, we didn't get a Whole Foods until like 2 years ago, so it's not as like embedded in
I
our
heard it all
society.
the
Like when
time.
you're in California, they're everywhere, and everyone goes to Whole Foods.
And yeah, I mean,
All I'm saying, Simon, is
I'm a guy who like definitely has no problem with paying for quality on something. Whole Foods is a tremendous ripoff. Like,
But as he said, when Amazon took over, it was able to tremendously, I'm not trying to be an advertiser, but it got cheaper because they stopped having to worry about the bottom line because they were now a part of a big company.
or they just started cutting massive corners and
no, I agree with what he was saying, that maybe Jeff Bezos really sees it as, because I mean, if you think about it, it's a smart business play. You cut, sure, your year-end bottom line, you lose 10% when you cut the prices by 10%. But if you're getting more people in the door, then in the long run, you create
and that's been Kumar, that's been Jeff Bezos's model.
of course, that's why he didn't make money for fucking 15
everything.
years. I get it. But it's just, if it didn't work with Amazon, then you could be like, well, that model clearly doesn't work. But it did work. They ended up making massive profits, and they bought, I
There's
don't know.
also a huge amount of data in a Whole Foods. See what people are buying, what's going on, where they're buying it from. You know what I mean?
Which is good for the online portion of Amazon's thing. It's probably just a giant loss leader for fucking info. It's gross.
To acquire data, exactly.
And this guy, I don't know, it's going to just come off sounding fucking bitter. To me, this guy is like, he's just a part of this gross machine, but somehow like has convinced himself that he's not. And that
I just think the weirdness is that the machine, whatever it is for faults and positives, is what has got us to this point right now. Like even us three on this podcast, like society as we know it. So it's sort of
But Simon, I want to ask you a
What the
question.
alternative is.
Well, the alternative is the three of us sitting around a campfire having a discussion.
It may be better. He was like
We just don't know what's better.
I thought this
guess,
guy was
is
like a
the point.
palatable Peter Thiel. He sugar-coated capitalism up a lot more than...
First of all, we're only talking about the first maybe hour of this podcast.
Well, it was-
because the middle hour is unlistenable.
A meat argument.
It's Game Changers without Steven and it's Game Changers with Joe and this guy playing Steven and Gary.
But
Pretty much.
Like a reenactment, which Kamar hates.
But there's a point. There's a point where he goes... Because right before things got off, they were talking about octopus dicks,
Yeah.
which really felt this podcast could go anywhere.
You thought that would really get me on board, eh?
No, I know. I saw you lean in though, like Willie D talk about trolls. But no, the first hour was sort of the evils of socialism,
Yeah.
and why it's so bad. And I wish Joe would ask him why he doesn't believe in unions, and why they sell Chinese toys at a food store for healthy living. But other than that,
Did they just start doing that?
last couple of years,
That's what I'm asking. Was that an Amazon thing or was that Whole Foods before Amazon?
I guess
I think
so.
that's an important distinction.
Right, I think we had it before the Amazon.
Okay.
We would sell toys at Christmas time, made in China.
Because I wanted to ask Simon, you were talking about Whole Foods being way too expensive. We talk about factory farming all the time, and we also talk about paying workers a living wage. And it seemed like Whole Foods was the kind of place that didn't support factory farming, and everyone was kind of an owner and got paid appropriately. So isn't that kind of the price of doing that business?
Yeah.
Goods at like a higher price.
I guess, yeah.
And if you're going to pay your
I
employees,
said
good.
it was going to sound bitter.
Benefits.
I just personally,
I mean,
like
you're-
I said, I don't have a problem shopping for quality. It's just not going to be at fucking Whole Foods. Like I'm
But
going to
just
go
hear me
to a
out.
local butcher
Hear me out,
and
though.
a local market.
But hear me out. What I'm saying is that 5 years ago, before Amazon owned them, it was a different story. too.
no.
don't think it was?
I never shopped at Whole Foods. That
Yeah, but
was,
we didn't. We got a Whole Foods for 6 months that was non-Amazon.
Was
or
that
like
all?
a year.
That was about a year or 2 years.
But you know what I mean? It wasn't like
Listen, I'm a bad example. I've probably been in there 3 times in my whole life.
Fair
you know
enough.
what I mean? Like I'm not their shopper, but I'm telling you why. It's not because I'm a cheap fuck who's shopping at Loblaws. It's because my dollar is going to go to the community, and and as much from the second that Whole Foods moved into the neighborhood that we know it is,
Mm-hmm.
they won't know, but we know. It was all community, like it's this protect. You're a giant corporation. You know what I mean? You
hold on
cannot.
though. When it was Whole Foods and every employee owned a piece, you could argue that
you could, but you can't argue that now.
No, now you can.
And we're not going to argue something that's not now.
Well, no,
right?
but what I'm saying is that listen, I'm saying you have to look at 2 Whole Foods. You have to look at a pre-Whole Foods or a
You could
pre-Amazon
look at the
Whole
old Whole
Foods.
Foods, but you can't now because there's only one Whole Foods.
Okay.
But hold on, but it was a successful business model. It obviously worked. That's all I'm saying.
That's why he's here.
So love it or hate it is without Amazon, Whole Foods worked, right?
It's a success story. Being even more expensive, but because the employees were happy because they were getting paid more than someone at the
That's
Safeway.
fine. Again, the prices isn't what I'm arguing
I know,
about.
but I'm just saying it's different when Amazon doesn't own them because then the community thing, there is a leg to stand on.
Well, I mean, my argument at that point would have been, why am I giving my dollar to an American company when there's a comparable
Sure, a local
Canadian
one down the street,
company
sure.
that is owned by people who,
Let's shut him out. Farm Boy.
well, they're owned by who now?
They're from Ottawa.
No, but they were bought by Sobeys, which
But you see what I'm saying is this is
Montreal.
what it all boils down to at the end of the day is like, most successful companies end up wanting to sell at some point to a much larger corporation that kind of
sorry, I to me this guy just seemed like he was full of shit. It seemed like
I wouldn't.
he
I'm not
was-
disagreeing with you.
He was on one side saying environment, this, that, and the next, and then on the other hand, capitalism, and not acknowledging that capitalism dollar is going against everything that he stands for on the other side. So
I also
Amazon
just-
because they've crushed Whole Foods instead of acquired them.
I also just didn't buy his argument of like, well, no, you tax businesses less and then innovation will take care of everything else. Like I was like, listen, buddy, that works when everything is a small business, maybe. But I was like, you're talking about not taxing the largest corporations in the world that are making more money now than they ever have. Dude, I read what is it? The richest, like 40 Canadians got $56 billion richer since the pandemic started. That's insane.
The riches of the rich really have worked out well in the pandemic. But I'm sure this is a coincidence. How much do you think he's worth?
This guy?
John Mackey.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
$4 billion.
$8 billion.
75 million.
Wow, we were way off.
He's a modest
Not-
Texan.
Not even in the ballpark.
So he gave a really kind way of justifying capitalism and putting down socialism.
Hold on, I agree with him too for the most part about capitalism.
It's all we got. But it all went to shit when he said his adrenals were coming back.
Oh man.
And Joe said, "You know that adrenal shit that's bullshit, right?"
And then everything for the next hour, the guy said, Joe was like, nope.
And well, the problem is, he actually showed a lot of resolve when he was like, Joe, you're fighting with someone else here. Because Joe is fighting against every single.
The best was when he said, Joe, let's just go back to the things we agree on. And Joe was like, yeah, okay, but
Yeah.
you're totally wrong about that.
It's almost like a kryptonite for conversation.
Well, that's the weirdest thing to me is that Joe preaches this healthy living so hard. It's like one of his biggest sticking points. And then someone who's vegan comes on who's clearly trying to live the life that he's speaking about. But he's like, why don't you throw some meat on there? And they're like, no, not really my thing. And he's like, well, then fuck your healthy living. Like, it seems, it's almost like a paradox.
I mean, in all fairness, that's not exactly what, like the guy was.
I get it. I'm just saying.
He's saying a plant-based diet minus meat reverses cancer. And Joe was like, you can eat meat.
I don't think he said, did he say reverses cancer?
That was the claim in the book.
I mean, where it really fell apart was chiropractic. I mean, that's where shit just was about to go wholly off the rails.
Oh, I once it came up, I was like, oof.
And by some grace of God, things just like...
I think it was John Mackey. Able to diffuse the situation.
Well, he didn't have any choice. If he had kept pushing that envelope, no matter what, like we side with Joe in the end, you know, not us maybe, but like most people who listen to Joe will side with Joe in that argument. He comes off like the fucking...
I'm sure all the Spotify employees were pulling for him. But it's more like every single person is different. So there is no one diet that we can... To have the argument is just stupid. There's someone who could just eat meat and reverse cancer, and someone who eat plants and reverse cancer or whatever. But
I think the acupuncture thing, like if we can just... Not acupuncture, I'm sorry. Chiropractic. Because Joe missed...
You were thinking about Chris Kessler.
Yeah. Joe missed... all he had to say was... Because the guy was like, well, chiropractic works for me, so if it works, then whatever. Yeah, but it was started by a guy who was claiming that it could fix people's cancer. Like, he made claims that were totally unreasonable.
I mean, let's keep in mind, though. Let's say you make wild claims, and at the end of it, someone's like, my cancer is going to kill me, but my back has never felt better.
Yeah.
I mean... Like that's kind of how life works sometimes. We fall into things through other, you know what I mean? Like the lava lamp was invented because the person was trying to cure cancer.
Well, I'm sure the market decides that, and I'm being serious. Like, look, if you're in pain and you buy a pill to make you feel better,
Yep.
and it doesn't make you feel better, then you go find another pill. Like, that's how that works. The same would be true for chiropractic. If you go there and it doesn't make you feel better, then you don't go back.
so enough people are benefiting from it that it survives.
I mean, this guy made a good point, though, that in this day and age with, you know, the way the pharmaceutical companies work and lobbyists and shit is sometimes pills don't work, but they still get pumped out.
For sure.
So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes the market doesn't work it out where
Well, it will, though. At some point, nobody's going to keep buying a drug that's not working for them.
if doctors keep prescribing it, that's how the system works.
Okay, that could work maybe for...
But it works. Hold on, just hear me out. It works long enough to get rich. You agree with that, right? Like if you can sell a drug super well for 10 years and then 10 years down the road, they hit you with a fine that's like a fraction of what you made. What do you care?
I bet chiropractors live off of word of mouth and not doctors suggesting you go to one.
Sorry, 1 second. I don't think you care. Right?
I don't think the big businesses care. Yeah.
But again, yes, there are some ways that the doctors can fool you, but in the end, that's only if you can't see look, if you're buying a pill to make your hair grow back and it's not making your hair grow back, well, you're not going to use it anymore. Even if the doctor keeps telling you, like, you're going to be like, dude, I'm spending my money on something that's obviously not working.
I mean, that's one thing though. We know through science that the placebo effect is a real thing, and that I'm with you. The hair growing one is one where you can't placebo.
Well, and pain medicine is another one, because like if you're in legitimate pain, you want to feel better. And if it's not making you feel better, you're going to, like, if you're buying aspirin and it's not working, then you're going to try Tylenol. And if the Tylenol doesn't,
But again, the placebo with the pain could also, you could take the pill and then just a half hour later, knowing that you've taken the pill, your brain, you know what I mean? That's still placebo. The hair was a good example because you can't fake hair growth.
Well,
you couldn't after 2 months be like, oh no, trust me, I can feel it. Like,
listen, for sure, the pharmaceutical industry is totally corrupt. Like, I'm not at all.
I know you're not. I know you're not arguing that. I understand what you're saying, Simon, and I'm not trying to push back hard. I'm just saying that the market resolving itself sometimes takes much longer than it should.
Yeah, listen, I'm the biggest arguer of that. That's my whole stupid poker scenario, right? Like, yeah, of course, at some point the hands are going to play out, but you got to be playing every hand to make that logic make sense. And if you're not there for some of those hands, you may be missing out on the hands, right? Like,
yeah, Simon, you know what I learned about this week? I learned this crazy math theorem called gambler's ruin. And it states that it's all math, but it states that if you and I have an EV bet of 0, so we both have an expected value bet of 0, which is a 50-50 coin flip, right? So don't even think of a coin because, they say heads lands slightly more, but think of an actual 50-50 that you and I could, a roulette board that's only red and black.
Yeah.
If we sit at the table and I have more money than you will eventually lose, no matter what, even though it's a 50-50 coin flip. Interesting, huh?
Well, yeah, because I might get to a point where I
it's the
need
variance.
to play that hand and don't have the money to do it in order to get that payout.
Well, no, it's not only that. It's more the idea that, like, sure, a 50-50 is that in theory, but a 50-50, like, in short periods, it could roll black 50 in a row. There's nothing that says that can't happen.
You're arguing my point.
I know I am. That's why I was saying is I happen to have learned about Gambler's Ruin this week, and it plays into... That's
exactly what I was talking. That's Gambler's Ruin. That's the example I need to give.
So the idea is that if the house always has more money than you, even at a dead even 50-50, you will lose.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. Which is why the house always wins. Sorry, I can't remember what we were talking about.
And it's why rich people end up doing well gambling, because they can play enough hands that they're going to get that one that pays out to make good on all the ones that they had to sit around losing. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. Come on.
We were talking about an argument between John Mackey and Joe Rogan about plant-based foods, and you guys said how the chiropractor discussion could have really just made this whole thing go nuclear.
Oh, wait, really quickly. I'm sorry. Keep that in mind. No, it's
on the top of my head.
The Gambler's Ruin brought me to you. I remember you one day, you said, I figured out the perfect roulette strategy. And I said, I don't think that exists, Kamar. And you said, no, this one is foolproof. And I said, okay, what is it? And you said, okay, so you walk up to the table, you put 50 on red. And I said, okay. And he said, if it hits black, you have to put 100 on red. And I went, okay. And then he goes, if it hits black again, you have to put 200 on red. And I was like, okay. And his logic is sound. If you have unlimited bankroll, then eventually your money comes back to you and you win.
But it could go red.
But
30 spins in a row.
Kamar was like, I went and tested it out though. Didn't really go my way.
Well, because you need the funds to go all the way.
Exactly.
No matter how much money you have, you could be in the bathroom on the spin that was supposed to pay off.
Well, that's not part of my equation. You have to be at the table.
Yeah. Sorry, though, John Mackey, chiropractic.
Is it a moot point to shit on it because it's just going to be? Like, there will not be a time when chiropractors are eradicated, that it comes to the consciousness. Like, it's too ingrained, right?
Well, the thing about chiropractic is that there's always a whole bunch of other shit. They talked about this that go on. You get chiropractic, you get massage, you get this, you get that. It's like a thing. And then you don't know which one actually helped you. But it's a chiropractic clinic, so
that's all part of scam. But my point being, it's not going to go. There's never been a moment of consciousness like, wow, remember when we used to go to chiropractors? Like,
yeah, maybe
you probably have a good friend who goes to a chiropractor.
I'm sure I do, but it just takes one person to have like their back broken or something. And
Well, with all the appointments, I think it'll happen more. My point being is, when you have a good friend who goes to a chiropractor, you don't treat him like a flat earther.
I certainly give him the spiel, though.
See, Kamar, though, the problem is like you could have a bad chiropractic experience and it might not affect you for 10 years, and then you couldn't pin it on that.
It's the perfect crime, it appears.
Well, let me say this, though. I'm with you that how old do you think this guy is? He's got to be in his 60s, right? John Mackey?
He's 76.
Okay, 76.
Let me double check that for
fine, but whatever. Let's say he's in his 60s. What are you doing, Joe? Do you really think? First of all, this guy said it makes him feel better. So right off the bat, just stop.
67.
Well, right off the bat, Joe's whole thing is everybody should just do what they want.
That's the key.
Like
that's the key.
But then as soon as it wasn't because though if he had said that's what I want to do, that probably would have been fine.
But he wrote a book.
Well, no, and it's because he said, like Kamar said,
reverses cancer.
yeah,
It was
he
too big
gave
a
like
claim.
these stats, and then he told Joe, well, anecdotal evidence is actually good because that's all we have, and Joe didn't like that.
I think too we don't do Joe enough justice. Joe, the only people he speaks to that we listen to him speak to are all in a position of writing books or influencing people. You know what I mean? It's not like if you said, "Oh, I go to a chiropractor and it makes me feel good," I'd be totally wasting my time trying to talk you out of it. If you then told me, "Well, I'm about to write a book, a best-selling book about how chiropractic is the best thing ever,"
Yeah.
that's a little more.
Making outrageous claims as well.
That's precisely it.
If I was like, I'm having your whole family over to my house to tout the benefits of chiropractic.
But one of the things John Mackey said that
Chiropractic.
It's a tough one.
sort of Buddhist is when he was talking about how your ideas aren't you. Your ideas are like your clothing. And I mean, it's hard to grasp, but it's really true.
So what are you then?
Clothing, you fucking idiot.
No, you're a hanger.
Oh,
Clothes
okay.
hanger. No, but
Yeah.
What are
That's
you?
even deeper, Darnell.
Darnell.
why Darnell?
But your ideas can change, but you're still here. As anyone in Mocha, like, has subscribed to it.
Don't try and throw mocha back in my face, Kamar.
Too bad. It's there.
No, but I'm being serious. Like, what are you? You are your ideas. They're not your clothes. They're you.
You're not.
Well, but then what are you? You're just a meat bag.
Yes. Now you're closer.
No, I don't.
That's why it's
Now
very
you're
Buddhist.
closer.
I don't buy that at all, man. I think if anything, we're more our ideas than we are our meat bag. Like if we, what do you believe happens when you die? Just boom, lights out.
Oh,
that's
no.
it, nothing.
I think you go off into
So fucking
super realm.
What's that?
Because I
Really?
think
That's
that.
what you think?
But if you think
Super realm.
if
I
you,
like that.
If you think you just die, you might just die.
Yeah. Well, that would be a.
So, but if you change your mind, like, is it this year I thought that, so that's what happens to me when I end?
Well, that's why people have the deathbed religious switch, right?
Christopher Hitchens
Because
said
you just got to cover all your bases. Sorry.
Christopher Hitchens said the best thing in one of his last. He had like a debate with, it was him, Sam Harris, and these two rabbis, and they were all talking about the afterlife. That was the whole like 2-hour debate. And Christopher Hitchens was like, people just have a problem with the idea that there's a party going on and you have to leave.
FOMO.
Yeah, and then he was like, and the idea of the afterlife is this promise of, hey, there's a party going on and you can't fucking ever leave. And the guy upstairs says you have to have fun the whole time. And I just thought that was a fun, interesting little anecdote.
Well,
I don't know.
That's why it's frustrating to think about death.
I think it ends. That's it. I mean, I think it's a simulation, so who the fuck knows?
Even after doing mushrooms?
Even after doing mushrooms, yes, I believe it just ends, yeah.
And mushrooms is just a coincidence that it makes you see crazy stuff and feel a different way. Like it is somewhat mystical, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of chemicals in our head. We don't know what's going on in our head. So
Exactly.
to assume that, I don't know.
Yeah, to assume anything
There you go.
Is insane. So I don't know why you think it just ends. I think the right answer, if there is a right answer, would be mocha.
Well, that's not the right answer either. I can promise you that.
Well, I mean, that's how things get done, man.
With mocha?
Is by people having ideas that, if everybody's just like, well, no, we die when we die. There's no point in ever trying to figure out anything. And then that's one way
but trying to
go
figure out
about
trying to figure out the afterlife is, we're never going to figure that out ever.
Yes, it'd be hard to get evidence. But do you find you'd rather hang out with people who believe your beliefs on deaths versus hanging out with people who think you just die?
No, I think that, like, I mean,
Let me ask you this. Do you think the fact that I think we just die affects the way I treat other people or the way that I walk through life?
it probably makes it a little bit different. People who don't,
You think you'd make the most of it if that was your true belief, right?
I definitely think that if you think there's an afterlife, like a good and a bad, then you're going to try and be better while you're alive. That
For karma's sake.
or even for your own self-preservation, you know?
But again, I think that's a human thing that we've made up. This moral system that, like, you might feel differently. You might feel like you've walked the path of righteousness where you deserve to be in heaven, where someone who feels like they're far more righteous than you might look down. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird thing that we've created. So that's where I have a problem with the whole like heaven and hell idea that
And everyone is different. That's the biggest thing. Back to the diet thing, back to the belief thing. Like,
And that's probably why, like you said, what did you call it? A super
realm.
Yeah, if it is a super realm, everybody probably just goes back into the super realm, you know?
But even
Comes
like
out a squirrel.
Stanhope said, if there is a heaven, like, is it just tons of aborted babies?
If you believe,
But you know what I mean? Like, no,
believe, no,
If you like aborted
absolutely.
babies, then I guess heaven is full
If
of
you
aborted
don't believe
babies.
aborted babies are souls, then no.
But like, think like, okay, let's do this thought process too. Like, so you get married when you're 20, you fall in love, you're head over heels in love, you get married, and she dies in a car accident at 25. Terrible. And 10 years later, you're never over it, but you're ready to move on, and you get remarried, and you're with that woman till you're 70. So you're with her for 30 years, and then you die. And let's say there is an afterlife. Like, what happens then?
Well, I mean, personally, are you asking
You-
me?
you mean
No,
you
but
got
I'm-
two
I don't think
ladies?
it works like that. I don't.
Maybe it
think,
doesn't.
I don't think heaven is like a big party. I think you're literally probably like going back into the universe, and then maybe you're reincarnating. You start all again.
A lot
Who
of that,
fucking
a
knows?
lot
Maybe
of that
that's
is
heaven.
a lot of that stuff is connected to the meat bag, and that's not you. Your consciousness or whatever you decide what you're seeing and everything is like more than you're conscious, right?
Yeah, but we know that because there's people that fucking are vegetables right now. So their meat bag is just sitting there, and there's
And
obviously
they have
nothing going on.
there.
That's like that. That's byproduct of humanness is that sometimes there's like that fucking terrible spot where instead of being re-released back into whatever, you're stuck.
Hell,
Purgatory.
Whatever you want to call
Sure.
that. I don't know.
I mean, let's keep in mind, too, and this is a terrible example, I'm aware, but I've been in a coma. I was out for 3 days, and there was nothing. So again, I'm not dead. I'm aware of that. My heart is beating. There is
What
so
happened
I
to your
can't
consciousness?
I can't use that as like this is what happens when you die. I'm not even trying to do that, but I'm just saying, as far as like, I guess being close or something, I guess you could consider that the closest.
how do
like,
you describe what you thought when you woke up? It was just 3
confu-
days
just
before
confusion.
whatever.
Just confusion.
Have you ever been put out of have you ever had a surgery and come back to from?
I think
'Cause
I've
that's
been
what I
under.
probably imagine it would be like. Because when I came back from surgery, apparently I'd been talking for a couple of minutes. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
no recollection.
Yeah, of
like
course.
until my eyes opened,
Mm-hmm.
that was like.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
so what was happening to me then? You know what I mean? Well, I'm out
yeah.
there.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true too.
like that's probably just as close to death as.
Yeah, I mean, I
The
guess they're putting
coma.
you in a coma. Yeah, you're
But
right.
still, a bunch of functions are working.
But
in your
again,
brain.
you're still working. Yeah, it's
Pumping the
what
blood.
That's
happens
what I
when
said, though. I get it.
stops
That's
working.
listen. That's what I said. I mean, I said that starting off. I just used it as an example of if we had a bar to use, and that was it, then lights out. That's maybe why I think that. Who knows? I don't know.
Is it like whatever thinks for you to breathe is you, but you don't know that person or that thing because you don't forget to breathe.
When you look down, when you like take a microscope and you look down to like what makes us and
Like inner space.
our cells, the millions of things that have to happen in series to make everything happen, to lift your finger, to do like it's insane. It's a miracle every second,
That is you,
well, I mean, that's all happening.
and that is what you do. But your ideas are something else. Well, that's what John Mackey suggested, and I sort of liked him. It's a lot easier to talk to someone and not be like, oh, because of those ideas, I cannot talk to you anymore.
No, I wouldn't have talked to John Mackey because I thought he was a giant fraud. And I have a hard time talking to people that seem wholly insincere. It had nothing to do
You
with...
think he's a fraud or just drinks his own Kool-Aid?
See,
Like
Kumar,
he doesn't believe what he's saying?
See, Kumar, here's the thing: is like you've worked at bars. Have you ever bartended though? Yeah. Okay. So you know then that like you get stuck in these conversations with people that you have to converse with, but you know in any normal circumstance you would just not be like. There's some people who just their ideas are so flawed that I don't know. I don't care to waste my time. So it's not to say that like I don't know. It's I don't know. That's a weird one.
Did you know that Denmark owns Greenland?
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
I think it's in
It
parentheses.
says, yeah, I was going to say it says in
I
parentheses.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Greenland,
Sneaky.
Denmark.
It's sneaky.
Sneaky Denmark.
I don't think they got it through any ill means.
I think,
But like, remember... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that I think the main problem we have with this guy is because he's a CEO, he would not say what he thought about something.
Remember when they said... This is way back. I don't even remember who was on, but they were talking about if you just let the market decide, like,
Everything.
taxes, let's say, then the people who make all the money will give back to the charities.
Oh, that's
that they
Peter Thiel, I
choose.
believe.
Yeah, that was Peter Thiel. I'm
And
pretty
you're
sure,
like,
yeah.
okay, that sounds great, you know, but that's never going to happen because people are shitty, and the shittiest people are the ones who own these giant corporations. Like,
Well, he pushed back there, right? He said, like, you could be a shitty doctor,
but-
you could be shitty anything. There's got to be good business people. There's got to be. They can't all just be bad.
okay, but they're also shitty ones. So are there enough good ones to make up for all the taxes that everybody is supposed to be paying? Like, no, that's never going to happen.
But it's how we got here.
It's how we got here. I mean,
So,
Kumar, here's the
got to
problem.
get
though.
rid of chiropractors and greedy business people.
Kumar, the problem is like when you put out a bowl of candy on Halloween and just say, please take one, it just takes one asshole to ruin that.
yeah, and 1 out of 10 people are assholes.
But that, so yeah, you're just strengthening my
Or
point.
whatever it is. Yeah, I'm saying that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, that's why you need
Some sort of regulation.
That's why you need some sort of regulation.
I mean, listen, this is the thing.
And John Mackey says, if you regulate, I would never be able to be successful and be here. Pushing this positive.
But hold on, see, this is where he's wrong because he lives in a world of regulations and he flourished.
He agreed there has to be some regulations.
But I mean, that's
over-regulation.
This is the problem with capitalists, though, is they always they're like anti-socialism all across the board, but we're really not. Like Joe talks about all the time. There's certain things we've socialized. A lot of things,
It's
actually.
like we are all capitalists, though.
Yeah, of
With
course.
The problem with
because
capitalism is the
capitalism
problem with
works.
us. That's the problem.
But there's things about socialism that we need to bring in, which we have, that also work. Fire, police, taxes, healthcare in our
healthcare.
healthcare in our system, and most of Europe. And again, you hear about like, well, those Scandinavian countries are democratic socialists. They rock it both
And
ways.
you said they're actually more capitalist than we are, probably.
They are,
well,
yeah.
because they went way too far. Like
Oh.
Sweden went way too far left. It fucked them over, and now they're trying to like
I also read
capitalize their way back.
And China was starving until it sort of incorporated a bit of capitalism into its.
I also read an article, which I didn't fact check, which I have to do, that said that apparently Denmark has more wealth and equity than anywhere in the world.
Well, they own fucking Greenland.
That's it. It's a gold mine.
But like they have a worse index than the world. So like on the index of like wealth inequality, like the world has its own category amongst the countries.
Yeah.
And Denmark is the only one worse than the world. So like the world has a wealth inequality index of like 98.1 and somehow Denmark's is worse.
That's interesting.
Again, I didn't fact check this, so please let me do further.
And they're
Well,
more
no,
of a socialist country.
I'm telling you, there was a whole bunch of stuff I didn't tell you about them owning Greenland,
Okay.
and that plays into it.
This sounds conspiracy
Conspiracy,
driven.
yeah.
Conspiratorial.
Are you gonna shoot or are you waiting
No,
for a random?
I don't remember. That's why I didn't say it. Like I didn't. That was the only part I remembered. They own Greenland, but there's shit going on in Greenland. That's why Trump wanted it, and
I think he just wanted to build a hotel.
But
there.
did you notice that John Mackey chose his words carefully? Because, like Michael Jordan says, a Republican buys shoes too. There are certain places he would like not say because he doesn't want to wake up tomorrow and half the world doesn't want to shop at Whole Foods.
But he said those exact words.
So
He said, Joe, I can't afford to have 50% of people hate me.
So we did. This is actually opposite of what I said right before when I was talking about Johnny Manziel. And he's talked to someone for 3 hours. You can still not know who they are.
He seemed like he hated meat. No, I know he probably didn't, but after this argument, he seemed like an anti-meat guy.
Well, he said he didn't like the ethics
I think
of it.
meat put him off that he got in an argument over it.
And listen, I agree. The ethics of meat is unbelievably
The best would be if it
horrible.
ended with Joe him in a headlock shoving liver down his throat. Because Joe said he's the only person who brought him food, but we know that Saladino brought him liver. Tom Papa brings him bread all the time.
Said he's the only one who brought meat.
He couldn't get over the
And cashew
cheese.
cheese, yeah.
It's not cheese. It didn't come from
Oh
a
no,
tit.
sorry, almond cheese.
Yeah.
And no,
Either way.
almonds do not have titties.
We don't know that.
I've seen an almond.
Microscopically.
Microscopic titties.
Maybe. Yeah.
No, I believe it's almond mixed with water. And then strained. Just dirty.
I mean, is Joe that hung up that they have to just give it a new
I thought
name?
this podcast was not as bad as it was going to be.
Really? I thought this podcast was fucking awful.
I thought it was going to be much worse.
Yeah, but I think you came in with some bias, maybe.
No, I mean, I don't care. He didn't fire me, but it's like, if it had been
The call came right from him.
if it had been a weird agree-a-thon, I think that would have been worse. I felt Joe became more of a socialist for the discussion than he actually believes.
But see, this is the weird
Like
thing.
he got a couple Diablo avocados.
This is what I don't like, is that when a Dan Crenshaw comes on, like or another alpha male, or maybe you could argue more of an alpha male than Joe wouldn't push back on socialism.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Whereas John Mackey comes on and he's like, oh, I can fucking...
It felt like he put a hat on for the socialism talk, but then took it off when it got into meat and could not help himself. He
Couldn't help himself.
He could have been a lot more supportive and like, yeah, but he wanted to push back on the adrenals and then
Is the
meat being
whole
bad for you.
food diet the whole food diet?
No.
That's just like
Whole
a
food-
happy coincidence.
whole
Well,
food
no, they-
includes meat.
I think they named it Whole Foods, a lot like we named this podcast, in hopes of
Right.
like
yeah.
AAA USA beef or whatever, you know. Remember that old that McDonald's conspiracy? That McDonald's bought a company
100%
called
beef.
100%
Yeah,
Canadian beef, and
But do you guys think it'd be better if
not a
the
conspiracy. They
government
did that.
just ran the
No, they
grocery
didn't.
store and there's just one grocery store and had everything run by the government?
no, we know that wouldn't work.
So this is where it's we need some capitalism, we need some socialism.
But that's what I'm saying is
And
there's
where the
certain,
perfect mix lies, I do not know.
but keep in mind is you can regulate, like they regulate grocery stores. There's certain protocols they have to follow across the board, but anyone can open one. So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. If he wasn't sold to Amazon, I would probably like this guy
Oh,
and have no problem with it.
interesting.
That is the problem. It's the
It would be so much better if he was like not owned by Amazon
You
and talking
are-
about Amazon is crushing guys like
Yes.
us, even though I'm a big business.
and we're doing it because we treat our people right and we do this and everything Matt
Yeah.
said. But to say all that and then say, well, listen, it's
then we
not going to
sold-
be
we
long
sold to the
before
bad
robots
guys.
are doing your job.
Yeah.
Like, don't fool yourself.
So Whole Foods is the way to start and run a successful company. It's just you got to stop short of getting bought by a huge.
Fuck Bezos.
See, this is the problem that we've encountered, though, with capitalism, is that what we know from Jeff Bezos is that you have two options. When he comes knocking, you can sell to the devil.
Get crushed.
That's it. Or you can say, I'd rather not. Thank you. Have a good day. And you're out of business in
Because
a year,
that's what
5.
he does.
What did
for
he say? He
fun.
was like, people think because Jeff Bezos has $60 billion, whatever. He's taking that away from you. That's all what they always
He
say,
is.
right?
He is.
Well, Mackey's positive. There's enough to go around.
Well, he's certainly not paying his taxes, so we know that.
Do you think the left should be more upset
they're
with
not
Jeff
giving
Bezos
back
than
to
Donald
the
Trump?
pot?
I think they should be equally mad at both.
But I think Jeff Bezos is doing more harm than Donald Trump is.
I mean,
That's a really
a weird
tough,
bar,
but it's like, yeah, which devil is worse? I don't know.
I mean,
Jeff
one
Bezos
ran
is anti-Trump,
one ran the free
so-
one ran the free world for 4 years.
I would agree with you
keeps
if
his
you want to say
profile
that
clean.
Jeff Bezos has more power than Donald Trump. I'll agree to that. Like, in
Oh.
the world.
And are
I
we
think
trying
when
to fight
Trump goes
power?
to sleep at night, he dreams of being Jeff Bezos.
I think that the big decisions, probably Jeff Bezos has a say in. The guy
On the
literally runs like.
But like I said, that's the
I'm
big
sure he
problem
just
we have.
minds his business, nice, quiet Sunday dinners.
Yeah, that's what Lex Luthor did for sure.
Yeah.
Without Trudeau and Trump, do you guys think you can name 5 world leaders?
Yes.
Angela Merkel, Netanyahu,
Putin. The
I was
Korean
gonna say Mao.
guy. Yeah, I was going to say Mao
No,
too.
not
but
Mao.
It's
Xi.
whatever. You know who I'm talking about.
Nope, that's not a name.
That's not good enough. Mao Zedong.
No, you just said not Mao. What the fuck is wrong with you? This guy
only
watches one
name I
Tyson
know.
fight.
You can pick
The only
2 more
name I
world
know.
leaders.
Yeah, here, I got this.
You said Merkel?
Sarkozy.
Yeah, that's.
He's not in there
Italy?
anymore, is he? No,
he's-
Sarkozy's France.
Oh,
That's
France.
No, that's Emmanuel Macron now. It's
okay.
France.
Yeah, okay. So I was off on that one.
2 more.
2 more.
It's interesting.
Kim
eh?
Jong Il.
There you go. You got him.
That's
You
who I
got
was
him.
thinking about.
Yeah.
You got
Kim
him.
Jong.
Oh my god, I was in Thailand. Who's the king?
What's your point?
It's interesting. You think you're way more worldly than you are.
Oh, I don't think I'm worldly at all.
Boris Johnson, you could have said.
I mean, this is the thing with world leaders. They change in democracies. They change fairly often.
The Queen.
Well, she's a monarch.
That's an interesting.
Yeah.
That's like a trick question.
That's a interesting loophole, Simon.
Makes me wonder what now is the tie-in between Denmark and the Queen, and Denmark and the Vatican.
Denmark have their
Is
own
that
royalty.
tulips?
Because Denmark
have their own
that's,
royalty.
That's Amsterdam. That's the Netherlands. But no, because now that you've said that about the dispersal of the wealth, that's not a coincidence. There's something to that. There's a reason for that.
I have to look into it. I didn't do my due diligence when I brought that
I
up.
like it. I'm
apologize.
choosing to believe it.
Did you guys feel like
And that's
Mackey
how
was
info
getting
works.
ganged up on with fingers in the back, supporting him?
Yeah.
And he was like, I need to get my own tech guy in
That's how
here.
it goes. Anyways.
And
That's
do you,
it? Oh.
do you guys remember Casino?
The film?
Yeah.
Of course.
And the
Great movie, except for Sharon Stone.
bumbling.
What?
No,
We've
we've
been
gone
through
over there.
this.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
everyone disagrees with you.
Yeah.
That's one,
Sorry, listen, you could
But
bring
don't
that
worry.
up once a year, and
Don't
once
worry.
a year I will be
Hold
shocked
strong
by
to
your
my-
opinion.
dude.
to my
your-
ludicrous
Your
convictions.
ideas aren't yours.
Can I ask you this then? Could you name, since we're on the naming, name 2 people that you think would have done that role better at that time? Since you're in the director's chair.
2 people who would have done that role better at the time.
And I think
Well,
Michelle
you're-
Pfeiffer's out
You're really
Why is she out?
because she was in Scarface, so they wouldn't have cast her so close. I don't
really
think.
putting me on the spot? I'd
She
have
could
Were
have
you
done
going
it. She
Michelle
could have done it.
Pfeiffer?
I bet you Sigourney Weaver could have done it.
This is what I'm going to do, Matt.
She's hot, man.
I'm going to come back to you with a list. I think this is unfair to put me on the spot,
Fair
but
enough.
I like your game.
Fair enough. Write it down somewhere so you don't forget.
So,
I'll write it
anyways, Casino.
down. It's not,
Write it down. Text me.
not ironclad. Yeah.
Not on Instagram, though.
Casino.
Yeah.
There's a bumbling floor boss
Okay.
that Robert De Niro cannot stand.
Okay.
Yeah, the nephew of.
The nephew of the guy.
Yeah.
And then the guy who walks in and sort of gives him.
He gets beat up outside, right?
No, not this guy. That's the guy who's cheating. This guy, he's like, this thing pays out 2 jackpots in 1 hour, and you don't think something's fishy or that someone's in on it?
sorry, I didn't
and the
look
guy's
at
like,
it.
I'm sorry, boss. I didn't even think anything of it. And he's like, what are you, stupid?
Oh, no, I know who you're talking about. I thought for some reason there was a scene where he's in the parking lot and
No, he never gets touched.
He fires him. He like
He
throws him out of the
fires him.
casino, I think, and is like,
He-
don't
he-
come
he
back.
doesn't
Like
get-
embarrasses
He doesn't
him.
get roughed off.
Anyways,
He
go
gets
on.
humiliated.
Go on.
And then Mr. Las Vegas comes in, or Mr. Nevada. And
Yeah, the
sort of
Nevada
like,
State Gaming Commissioner.
We have a way of doing things around here, and I appreciate you giving it. And it probably is his downfall, if that's true, right?
Yeah.
He brings that guy back in. He loses a couple things. He doesn't have everyone come on down on him. Ruins his career. I felt like Mackey was going to pull that on Joe Rogan because he's from Texas.
That was so long. I got
I
lost. That was
don't
so
know
long.
what
So
is
wait, he
going
was
on
gonna
here.
pull.
He's going to, Joe, you know we have a way of doing things down
Gotcha.
here.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm with you.
You don't argue about beef in Texas, boy.
Or whatever he was going to do, but he didn't. He didn't because
Down here, we milk almonds,
I'm
son.
like, you should enjoy the Texas hospitality, Joe, but don't get too comfortable.
That's why they sent Mike Judge the next day, or what's his name?
Mike Judge.
Well, I think this
Just
is
to give Joe he was just sitting in the background the whole time.
maybe on behalf of Mackey, like all those Texans.
They're just all the rich guys.
Mackey called up McConaughey and said, "We got to do this."
Welcoming party. Get your soap and your socks. We're going over to Rogan's.
Get your hoods. We're going out.
Joe is not adjusting to laugh in Texas as we would prefer. Anyways,
Don't bring those California ways down here, son. I don't know why it's Georgian all of a sudden.
It was the best heated argument that got resolved I've seen in a while.
Well, it got resolved because you're right. Because that guy knew enough in his head to be like, divert.
Diplomacy.
Unlike, I'm wondering, I should listen to that Adam Ruins Everything episode. Was he trying to like get back on track and Joe wouldn't let him? Or
I think he wasn't even trying to get back on track. He was really just trying to. I think what happened was Joe took his stance as like a firm foot in the sand. We should allow trans into every, and then Adam was like, "Well, I'm not saying we should just allow across the board them, but I think we should try to be more inclusive of everyone." And Joe was just stuck on like, "You want trans people in every sport," and he was like, "I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen."
That would have
to
been
it.
a fait accompli if John Mackey though decided that we have a great employee that was once a man is now a woman and competing in the Olympics next week, and we're so proud of her.
we're sponsoring.
Joe would
her.
just lose his mind, but I don't know.
It was weird because Joe said in his thing, he's like, I love talking to this guy. We had a great thing. I was like, yeah, for the first 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes, but everything in between.
Well, I think because he's Joe, you're getting upset. I'm not upset. You are clearly upset, Joe.
Joe is upset.
You're fighting someone else, Joe. You're having an argument with
Have
someone
some
else
almond
right
cheese. Calm down.
I want like seriously, I wonder at the end, does Joe like, he's like, oh fuck, I did it again. You know, I know that must be something he doesn't like about himself.
Well, just think about CEOs and conversations they have. Like, this guy has yelled at other people or had heated discussions. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So I don't think he walks out going, wow, Joe, you really gave me the business there. I don't think you can be a CEO and be able to handle
I don't know. I feel like you go on to this guy's show, you think everything's going to be great. You're like this uber rich guy. You're the Whole Foods dude. You just think he's going to be like your best friend. And then all of a sudden
You know what?
talk about adrenals and like your world comes
And you have
shattering.
to save face no matter what happens.
Do you know what I think the problem is, Simon? Is that when he gets these powerful non-pot smoking types, I think his pre-game changes drastically. And I
It's
think
gonna be a
that
sober
might have
discussion.
Sober October.
I think that
Mini
might have a
Sober
huge
Octobers.
effect on the podcast because, like, I think there's a lot of these things where if he was like 3 sheets to the wind, Joe.
No. It's an interesting point because you know that like when a scientist comes on, he doesn't smoke weed because he needs to be able to keep up with the
wants to be
conversation.
sharp. He wants to
But
retain all
he's-
the info.
Joe is not smart enough to argue against a scientist, right? Like there's usually not a point where he's
Unless
The
a scientist
expert at
has
all.
run his mouth
Yeah.
about meat
about adrenals.
yeah.
and adrenals.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, is like if a scientist comes on and is like, no, that adrenal thing you read is incorrect, then all of a sudden Joe usually is like, oh,
Whoa, that would be edited. That episode would be
Jamie,
edited.
take that out.
and,
No, that's happened. I what was I talking about last week? I was saying a word. It doesn't matter. Something Joe thought at one point. I listened to an older episode. He argued about it with the guy on one of our throwbacks.
and these shows,
And then in the next throwback, he was already talking the other side of it because he had learned from a scientist in between. Like that happens.
well, that's fine too.
your ideas are not you.
I feel like you're going to have that tattooed on your forearm next week.
Well, it's sort of a Buddhist idea. It's hard to actually realize it's possible. Yeah, if you think your ideas are you, and that's
I think maybe ideas is that's where we're getting, like, what are you, Kamar?
you are whatever controls your breathing and like
But even then, are any of your ideas really your own?
no.
Well, then
exactly.
what makes you different than me?
I was born a different day. I was raised by different people.
No, but it's
Willingness
it's
to eat hot chips.
I went to different. I
whatever you want to
went
call
a different school.
like,
I went to had different experiences. Seriously,
Yeah, but see, that's again, this goes, well, whatever. Yeah.
you can't. Is it? He's wrong.
Who's
your
wrong?
ideas are you. John Mackey's just
Simon's trying to figure out what you are then if you're not your ideas. Or this,
yeah, it's quite deep.
Like, let's say there's a judgment at the end, okay?
okay.
That I don't know what the judgment is, but at the end,
There's some sort of
there's
reckoning.
some sort of reckoning. What do you think's being reckoned? It's obviously not our meat bodies.
Well, I was saying that would be that's the cruelest thing in life for atheists or believers or whatever. If you get to it's like a Ministry of Transportation where you got to wait. So you have a time to wait. Oh, fuck.
But hold on, that's the
You know what I
assumption.
mean? I should have done good. Like, no, I don't believe anything, but just,
No, but I was going to say that's the assumption that an atheist has automatically lived a terrible life.
I was just gonna say, like, you could be a
great atheist who
and
does
be as-
tons
Okay,
of good. Yeah.
right.
and if you're this good atheist, when you're in this line, you're like, huh, look at that. It is this. I have nothing to worry about. I was a good person.
But you could argue
I'm
that
going to
maybe
assume there are no lines.
But there's going to be people who believed in it, didn't live a good life, and we're like, oh, no.
I don't know why there are shitty lines on our way to the reckoning, but okay.
it's worse than here. It's 4 hours.
Just-
And you got to wear a mask.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
It's the last line you ever have to wait in.
Or
Yeah.
so they say.
There could be someone who all their life they believed in,
He just butted lines his
The
whole
reckoning.
life.
And I don't have my phone?
but secret down inside they're like, yeah, there is no reckoning, but it serves you better to say there is. And then you got to be like, ah, shit. It'd be funny. I don't think that's what it is.
Kamar, I'm with you. If there's an afterlife and in line, which Simon doesn't believe there is, they're like, fill out the pamphlet. And the first thing on the pamphlet is like, how many times did you go to church? Between 1 and 10, between 50 and 5,000, between 10. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like,
Have you ever lied?
For sure. If the afterlife has anything to do with religion,
Or
most people are fucked. But like the fact that we would even assume that was the case, why are they any more right than me and my church telling you
the fact that
there are no fucking lines?
But Simon, it could also be, like I said, we don't know. So maybe you get there and they're like, did you eat an animal?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I ate tons. And they're like,
Yeah, well, you know, exactly. That'd be just such a cool chick.
How many
But
of your friends did you screw over? None? Oh, no. You got to screw at least 16
who
people over.
knows what the
Like,
actual parameters are? But the fact that we invented religion makes me know that's not it.
of course.
That's not what it is.
Unless we didn't invent religion.
Even if it was given to us by aliens, they invented it.
Like, it's just like this. We think religion exists, so it exists, but it doesn't really exist. Like, there's no force, right?
Or is there?
Mocha.
Mocha,
That's
baby.
the beauty of it.
There
See?
is. There it is.
No, I'm not even mochaing that shit. I'm like legitimately.
So what do you think what do you think a religious power is then? Just out of curiosity.
Like
Religious power?
if Jeff
Well,
Bezos,
that's what you're saying. Is it not? Did I miss that?
No, what are
Because
you
you said
talking about?
religion's powerful, or like it has some sort of extra. Isn't that what you're
if
saying?
Jeff Bezos decided he had to get rid of religion to increase his bottom line, something would step in and stop him.
Like some divine intervention.
Sorry.
Oh, that's divine intervention.
I don't
That's
know.
Tim Cook.
I mean, I don't know how that works.
That's the power that
I have
religion
my
doesn't exist except in our
theories
beliefs.
about things. I think it's all about like whatever we are, we have choice, and choice is what, like that's all that really separates you from
And
somebody
then if
else.
we won't get bogged into this, but if you talk to Sam Harris, he'd disagree with you. I don't want to go any further than that.
No, Sam Harris would absolutely disagree.
Yeah,
with
okay.
me.
But I actually wanted to bring this up.
Free will is what. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I wanted to bring this up, I think, last week. I can't remember who the guests were other than Chappelle.
Laterman, sex, drugs, death, religion.
Yeah, so he was
professor.
He was sort of talking along the lines of what Sam Harris touches on, in that, again, you do have choice, of course, but all the things leading up to there, you had no choice in. Your circumstance and all that leads you to be the person that you are. So do you have choice was kind of the, again, that's what Kamar's
That's
asking.
not Sam Harris's argument, though.
No,
Yeah, it
I
is.
didn't want to get
Sam
into
Harris's
it at all.
argument is that you don't have choice because all the circumstances that led up to you being here now,
had no control
you had
over.
no control over in the end.
So you don't all of a sudden pick up the reins right in the
Well,
middle.
but he's also saying that you don't even have free choice right now. That everything, no matter
didn't want to get
what,
bogged down
is
there.
being dictated.
That's not it. No, he's saying that the choices that you make are all dictated on things that are outside of your control. So that you think it's the illusion of free will. So you think in your head, I have the choice to do A or B. But in reality, you've already made the choice and you're going to do the thing that you're predisposed, that sort of thing.
I don't believe that.
The best religion to believe in is Buddhism. If you want to believe in something, because that's for sure an afterlife.
Well, why isn't there the Bruce Lee equivalent of religion? Where is that religion?
The Bruce Lee
Where
equivalent.
they just took like all the really good kind of ideas from each religion. That's what he
Is that
did.
a
He
Christian
took
scientist?
the best parts of all these martial arts and made Jukindo or whatever his thing was.
Because it seems like they all need a prophet.
And then you got to fuck a guy's wife, and then it gets other.
And then it gets ugly. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And the closest there is a guy named Joe Rogan.
But like, is there a religion without a prophet?
Closest. I decided based on what you're talking about. Like football's my religion. I go to football, and it like gives me something.
Well, someone has to decide on what.
So right now, the prophet is Roger Goodell.
what the best tenets are
Of each religion?
of to
Hit
pick.
hard, play to the
But
whistle.
what if you did it by like mass voting, Matt, and you just opened it up to the populace?
Well, then we end up all Islamic.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's why they have the Electoral College. That's what they say.
It's a numbers game.
That's a problem. All right.
So we're done with this guy?
I-
Okay.
We had our way with him.
Okay.
I thought it was way better than you guys, obviously.
Oh, I hated this.
I just thought it was really boring. Yeah, I didn't like this episode at all.
Had the argument ensued and then it just ended awkwardly, then I might agree with you more. But the way he was able to land the plane and
I didn't mind their
Walk out of it.
capitalism talk. I don't mind them. I
I didn't hate it.
not
I
agreeing.
wasn't mad at it.
I just hated the fucking hour-long vegan shit in the middle.
Because
of
my
it.
bottom line is saying what diet is the best doesn't matter because every single person's dietary needs is different.
You are Amazon.
You are part of the problem.
You are Amazon.
Oh, I got the wrong one. It would be like a snare right now.
John
Ron's
Mackey
good too.
is Amazon, so it's hard to we used to be this. We used to be this great company, and we used to do things this way and this, and now we're Amazon.
So he used to be a guy you could like and now he isn't.
I guess. Probably liked him in his 50s.
Somebody that I used to know.
I mean, this is the thing is I would, if Kamar hadn't worked there, we could sit here and argue, well, maybe Amazon just bought them and kept everything the same except lowered prices. But we just know that's not the case.
You know there's changes.
We know there was
There's a
lot of
buyout.
changes.
There was no more. The biggest thing is you could no longer buy stock in the company. Like as you work there every 5 years, you could.
Well, because it's Amazon
allotted.
stock now, right?
Well,
Which
they
is
gave
worth-
they,
which
they
is
gave
worth
everyone
fucking-
one Amazon stock and got rid of all those programs. There was profit sharing.
Isn't
There's all these
one
things.
Amazon stock like $1,200?
No, it's like $3,000 now.
So
When I got it, it was $1,200, and I could either pay $700 tax on and keep it as my retirement or cash it in.
But like he was saying, we give our employees 20% off, and then
40%
You
if they
got
follow certain.
30.
Sorry,
There's
yeah.
an extra 10. If
Yeah.
you do all these things,
You have to quit smoking.
Yeah, to be part of our whatever, then we'll give you that extra 10%. And then I was just like, yeah, but if you really, you know what? It doesn't matter.
No, you're kind of right. If you really cared, you just give everyone the 30% off.
Or you would just
regardless.
give them cost
It's
on your vegetables.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Or
they wouldn't
you'd-
have to steal French fries.
See, I don't like that.
If
He brought it up. You didn't say shit. I didn't say
what was I
shit.
going to say?
It's fine.
Yeah, the discount comes in handy. Like you appreciate when you get it.
I mean, you make a great point, though. Why profit off your employees?
Because they're a major part of your income.
They are a huge part of they are the only reason you make money. So why not just give them at cost? You're not like, there's no way that your employees.
And it doesn't have to be on everything. It can be on, look, there are things that you get a better margin on than other things. You know what I mean? You don't want to be giving people, like, I get that. If you're making 20% on something, I could see why you wouldn't want to maybe lose or not make money on that thing, because otherwise, why are you having it in the store? But like on produce, I imagine there's a huge markup. You know what I mean? Give all your fucking employees cost on produce.
Yeah, but even the thing that's like the 20% markup, Simon, you're still, at the end of the day, having your employees use and enjoy the product is only going to be good for you in the long run anyway. And you don't have enough employees that it's ever going to hurt your bottom line. That's the real way you should look at it, right?
I don't know.
I don't
haven't
know.
given it a lot of
100,000 employees,
thought. That's a lot.
That's across the nation.
500 stores.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's not, dude. How many employees?
I don't know.
100,000 out of 400 million. It's really not a lot.
20%.
Well, it certainly isn't a lot for Amazon.
No, the rules of engagement have changed.
Like that's.
It'd be cool if Joe had been Canadian and he could have asked him about the poppy thing. If Joe was Don Cherry, that would have been.
Oh, that would have been
fireworks
great.
too,
That
but
would have been interesting. Yeah.
I don't even know if that's in John Mackey's purview.
I mean, there's so much stuff that Joe actually left on the table. Now that I think of it,
so he got off unscathed.
they got caught up in that shit in the
meat debate,
and he lost track of what he should have been talking.
which will never be resolved.
That's where Fingers needs to step in. Needs to be like a.
No, Fingers was on Joe's side.
There needs to be a
He's
little
ride or die.
No, but there needs to be a little teleprompter for like Jamie to be like Poppy and have Joe be like, "Oh yeah, by the way." But I guess that
I'm
ruins
sure he's
the.
unaware that it'd be too much background, but
Did they do it in the States too?
they don't have poppies in the States.
Only we do that. Oh yeah, Flanders Fields. Yeah.
Well, let's rate it, boys. Let's bring the ship home. Unless you have more.
But that's weird though. They're probably allowed to wear like American pins in the States.
Probably not at Whole Foods. Maybe they don't have enough people working there that put up an up cry.
You can't wear a
Uproar.
Canadian pin at Whole Foods.
Can't wear a poppy.
You can't
No,
wear
I know you can't
any
wear a
pins was the whole point. That's what you said.
No, that's what I said.
You said it wasn't the poppy, it was anything.
What I said was it covers their corporate asses if you want to wear a like if I come in with a poppy,
Then someone else can say, well,
then
why
the
can't I wear
dickhead
this?
comes in with a swastika and says, "Hey, you're infringing on my rights." If he's allowed to wear a poppy, and then you get a whole. It's like the Pastafarian guy, you know.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah,
If that's the intent, if that's what it was.
I believe that's what it was, dude. What corporation would ever be like, we're anti-veterans?
troops.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, I get that's just so ballsy.
Anyways, it was a lost opportunity, missed opportunity.
All right, I rated a 1.
I rated a 2.
I get 3.5.
That's so weird. I thought you would have shot all. I thought you would have just come in here fucking guns blazing,
No, it was
chariots of fire.
You are not your ideas.
So that was it. That's that.
Joe, you're angry at someone else here. It was his. It was wanting to talk about octopus penises. He just was. I mean,
By the way, the octopus doesn't technically have a penis. It has a tentacle that
penises.
acts as a penis. No, I think it's just one
if
specific.
that goes
tentacle.
though, another one picks up the slack.
It's just one.
Oh, that's what. Imagine we could take octopuses
Octopi
and incorporate them into paint,
Octopussies.
and what?
into like paint. So you could just have an octopus paint, which would just take it whatever color you needed.
Are you just
So you know, people have to match colors sometimes.
yeah?
You want this color, but it's not quite a match. But if it octopus paint, it would just become
But you know that it's their ink doesn't change colors.
their ink doesn't change
You're
color.
talking about them changing colors, like
The
their
octopus
skin,
changes
like
colors.
Yeah,
cuttlefish.
the octopus can. But so we're gonna grind octopus into paint?
I don't know if that'd work like that, Simon. But
That's what he's saying.
He just said that to me like I'm the fucking moron.
it's technology in some sense or way, just like our
Oh,
body.
you're just looking for a paint
That-
that can change color.
Wouldn't that be the?
It would be very
But they have
cool.
chameleon paint that changes color
Do they? I've not come across it.
for cars. You
They
haven't seen
also
that?
have that little keychain. I don't know if you've seen it, where you can, you like that orange, you just put it on top and it finds you the Pantone of that orange.
It's a digital keychain.
Yeah, correct.
Wow.
It's just like this little,
And it's made by
It's not,
Pantone?
it's not a keychain, and it's not Pantone. It gives you the paint.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
But it's no. There's a
No
whole
free plugs,
There's a
Pantone.
whole bunch of different ones. Go to
Okay.
the paint store, you'll
Well,
see
he
them,
was-
and they're not actually keychains. They just most people I've seen have them on their keychain.
If you were like a professional painter like Kamar,
Or
if you
if
painted
you were a
homes,
designer or something.
yeah, you'd want to match colors.
I believe
Gotcha.
he mentioned DNA.
That goes in the paint.
No, just DNA as the concept of DNA.
Oh, we're going back to John Mackey now. We're going back.
No, with the DNA's. He said grind up the octopus. I said that's not the answer, but something the DNA or something. That
I think there's a
Mimics
way
colors.
to do this paint that has nothing to do with octopi.
that's not as cool.
But Kamar, have you never seen a car painted that changes colors as it drives by? The chameleon paint job? You've never seen that?
No,
No, there's a few in
I
auto.
think that's more of a reflection though than actually taking on the color. It's
Well, I get what you're saying.
He's
it's
talking
not,
about something
I
different.
get it.
I
I'm
know
just
what
saying
you're
there
talking
is a
about.
paint that changes color currently.
In the
I've
sun.
seen that. Yeah.
It's a heat thing, isn't it?
No, they also have that. They have a paint that like I've seen it. It's nuts. You pour like piping hot water on the hood of the car, and all of a sudden, like this, it reveals this insane paint job. It's
Hypercolors.
fucking nuts. Yeah. So I guess when you rev the engine up, like when it gets going,
Weren't there clothes like that for a while?
Hypercolors, that's what they're called. That just
yeah,
didn't last
yeah,
long.
yeah, that's right.
And they didn't last
Yeah.
long enough. Like it eventually, the color would burn out, and then you'd just be stuck with like.
remember mood rings?
Would they change if
I have a
you
mood ring.
sweat?
if you sweat or water
Like
was
under
thrown
your
on.
armpits? It would just get all like
Fluorescent
colored.
orange.
It's weird, man.
Definitely thought from cocaine infused think tank.
Yes.
These shirts, put some water on them, change color.
Dude, the fucking change color on your body.
It's like I had these pants. I used to love them. I must have been in like, I don't know, grade 6 or whatever. They were black pants and they had zippers all over them. Like boom, boom, zipper, 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 zipper. And you could open the zippers, neon orange. Open the zippers, neon orange. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my god.
Did you get
So
beat up
cool.
in those things? That's how I stopped wearing them.
Okay. We have a tough choice to make right now.
No, we should take a break now
Yeah,
because
definitely. There's no choice.
Oh, okay. Well, I know that the last one's probably not going to get a lot of
There's
time.
no choice.
Okay.
I thought we covered the last one already. Service to her.
All right. So we're going to take a break. We're going to pay a bill, and we'll be right back. Guys, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp.com. What interferes with your happiness? Are you feeling depressed? You feel anger? Maybe it's anxiety, stress eating away at your life. Maybe it's a self-esteem issue. Do you feel like there's something preventing you from achieving your goals? I know for me, I had a wicked drinking problem in my 20s, and it would have been nice if there had been someone there to help. Luckily, I overcame it, and I can tell you right away, I feel much better. That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own professional licensed therapist. It's so convenient. You can connect in a safe and private online environment. You can usually start communicating with someone in under 24 hours. So that's good. You'll get that timely and thoughtful help that you need. This is not a self-help website. It is professional counseling. You can send a message to your counselor at any time. As well, you can schedule weekly and video phone sessions. We know that during COVID, the last thing you want to do is be going into a doctor's office, sitting in a waiting room, putting on the mask. No one wants that. That's where BetterHelp is perfect. It's all done online, super convenient. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and they offer financial aid, and they're available worldwide, which is wonderful. There's also a broad range of expertise available, which may not be available locally in many areas. You never know. You may live in a rural area. They may not have a specific type of counselor that you're looking for. So that's where BetterHelp also comes in handy. They offer licensed professional counselors who are specialized in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, self-esteem. Guys, you name it. That's a lot of checked boxes. Anything you share is, of course, confidential. The website is convenient, professional, affordable. They do have testimonials on their website if you want to go check it out. They have so many people using BetterHelp right now that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. So also, if you're a counselor and you're having tough times during COVID, maybe head over to BetterHelp and see if you can get yourself a job. You never know. If you want to start living a happier life today, as a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting betterhelp.com/JREE. Join over 1 million people taking charge in their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JREE for your 10% discount off your first month. Guys, go check them out. Thank you so much. All right, 1570, if I'm not mistaken.
You got to ask this guy, man.
What an odd couple. 1570, Willie D and Mike Judge. Could there not be a what?
Yeah, crazy odd couple. Mike Judge didn't say anything. I don't know why he was there. I don't know why they put his name on the thing.
Well, okay, I made
Well,
the connection once because I was sitting there dumbfounded, happy, but dumbfounded, and then they mentioned Office Space, and I was like, oh,
Why was Willie D in Office Space?
Ghetto Boys was featured heavily in Office Space because Mike Judge was a huge fan. Do you not remember when Michael Bolton is in his car at the beginning?
Yeah,
and there's Ghetto Boys throughout the whole fucking movie. So like obviously Mike Judge was a huge Ghetto Boys fan.
Okay.
Now I assume they're doing something together.
Well, we got there rather fast, but that was the choice for the movie game this week.
Oh, Office Space. Oh, we're there.
I thought I would work it a bit
Office
later.
Space is one of my
Since
favorite
Mike
movies.
Judge did not
I
move.
love that.
It's
fucking
the
movie.
movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head, decide how much a movie cost, how much it made, and what year it came out.
Would you like a piece of paper?
No, I was hoping maybe you'd go off book today.
This week
I
we
always write
chose
them down.
Office Space because Mike Judge was in the studio, but he did not talk. I actually think the one chance he had to talk, Joe totally cut him off.
This is going to be a tough
broke
one
his cardinal
year-wise,
When
Simon.
was that, Kamar? You got to give us the.
When Willie D was talking about the troll that came up to him in the restaurant, and then Mike Judge started to go on. Well, you got to think about the guy that came up to him, and Joe Romina said, "Well, no, he felt bad. Like it was Mike Judge's chance to talk." And I mean,
Simon, this one's going to be really hard. Not just the year, the budget, the box office. This thing is going to be. I don't think either one of us is going to be close. Actually, we'll be close because. Well, whatever. I'm not going to say. I don't want to ruin anything.
Directed by Mike Judge, starring Ron Livingston, Jennifer Aniston, Stephen Root, and Gary Cole.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to need you to come in
I did not
Saturday.
receive my piece of cake. Quotable movie like no other.
If I don't get my stapler back, I'm going to burn down the whole building. You have a year, Simon?
I do, but I don't think it's right.
I see your year.
I think I got to go lower than that.
He's going in the 90s. I see 1990.
Whoa, bear the lead.
I already wrote mine down. It's fine. Well, Simon, we're both a year off.
Always.
In general.
But depends on which one I pick.
Oh, he hasn't done it yet.
I'm going with that.
Oh, because I said, yeah.
1997.
I had 98.
99.
Cunt.
I thought for sure you're going to pull it out.
No, 2001 was my original thought, but 2000 was actually my original thought.
Came out on February 19th, 1999. So I could have taken 89. That's a really close, but no cigar. A classic movie about the doldrums of working in office.
I fucking don't know.
This is wild.
Okay.
I said it cost $10.4 million to make, and it grossed 28.7.
And I said 11 million to make, and it grossed 49.
Well, it cost $10 million to make and made 12.2.
Wow.
A boom bomb with diggity. Although it's a cult classic, we all agree.
So technically, I won.
Yeah, you did come down. Well, no, with the parameters as our listener.
I was thinking about this. We got to
always
change.
win.
It should be so. We should change the parameters so that if it made less than 25 million or cost less than 25 million, you have to be within a certain amount.
I think we should just go 5 million, 5 million. The game's over now. The 50 million was because we were coming too far off. But now let's play the real movie game. Do you remember the rules?
Yeah.
I'm going to start it with a easy actress, Jennifer Aniston.
Office Space.
Sort of a cruel. You should probably go with a different movie.
Okay, fine. No, I can't think of any. So there you go.
Office Space?
Yeah.
Somebody's name in that. Fuck. So sorry, I have to give an actor's name, or can it be
actress.
another movie that they've been in?
Nope. Actor,
It
actress.
has to be
from
an
the movie.
Jennifer Aniston.
No, you can't.
Oh, that's what he did. That's what
I
he
started trying to easy because I thought you were going to
Okay,
say
Ron Livingston for Simon.
did. Ron Livingston.
Dodgeball.
Ben Stiller.
So now I have to give a movie he's in.
Dude, like
Yeah. It's that easy. It's that easy.
Something About Mary.
Matt Dillon.
not Lost Boys. Yeah, Lost Boys.
No.
What's the one I'm thinking of?
Outsiders.
Outsiders. Thank you. Yeah.
Ralph Macchio.
Karate Kid.
What the fuck is Mr. Miyagi's name?
Pat.
It's
something Pat something.
Yeah, I'm out. I lose.
The one would have been Elizabeth Shue.
But wait, you know Johnny's name, don't you?
No.
But Elizabeth Shue would have been a lifeline.
Oh, Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah,
good
Elizabeth
one,
Shue. Yeah. Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, that's a tough one, though, because where do you go from there?
Adventures in Babysitting.
I would have said Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh, Nicolas Cage. Yeah, and then from there it opens up.
Anyways.
Well, no, Adventures in Babysitting has a couple of people in it, doesn't
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but it would take you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're trying to keep it rolling, keep it
know,
moving. We're on
yeah,
the
I
road.
know.
We're
No,
driving
we-
to Texas.
we had a
We're on our
good-
way to Joe Rogan's
Anyways.
studio.
We had a good little run there, and that's the movie game with the
That's the real
added-on
movie game.
So Willie D, I don't know, but the Ghetto Boys were like so like the beginning of the
Tip of the
parental
iceberg.
advisory. Like you heard rap or whatever, but there's this group, the Ghetto Boys. They're the worst. The things they say, raping women, whatever. So it's always an enigma and hard to get their
Tipper
music.
Gore was right when I was like
Younger.
starting to listen to rap.
Mm-hmm.
That was right at the same time.
Well, I was going to say in 93, I was 10. So when Illmatic came out, I was 10. So
But I remember thinking Willie D was an afterthought of the Ghetto Boys. Like I always thought it was Scarface and Bushwick Bill, but it turns out it was Willie D. Which
well, it's funny that they were
Found out
kind of
through
like a
this
boy
podcast.
band.
he didn't even want to be in it.
Well, in a way, like it was, you know what I mean? Is like you always think of boy bands like as this gross, like, oh, they were just put together. But like you actually come to find out that like some rap groups that you really appreciate were like the same way.
But they were all like they had their own careers and they were brought together. Whereas like boy bands are usually just nobodies.
I get it, but even then, you could argue that they were nobodies at the time too. Their careers were nothing. Like Scarface wasn't even Scarface at the time. He was DJ whatever the fuck.
Action.
There, oh yeah, look at you go, son.
And Bushwick Bill was just a dancer.
There
His
you go.
He was just such a character that they had these horrible lyrics, but then their one of the members was a little person.
The best was the album cover
story.
That
Oh,
was
incredible.
fucking amazing.
Horse's
and
mouth.
if only the whole podcast had been like that.
But that's why I really like this podcast either way. This is why. But you know what, Simon? The amount of rappers he's had on that haven't told those stories, like, dude, the RZA. 9 of
Oh
the
my
Wu-Tang
God,
members got
well,
blown by one comedian. Why didn't we hear that fucking
Donnell's
story?
fault. That's Donnell's.
What?
What? Yeah, you know what I
Who?
mean?
What? Where?
No, we know because of Donnell. That's different.
What comedian?
I have no idea.
We don't know.
I don't know the story.
Oh, you don't?
I don't. Still, it's just a story. But no, I think he gave all the background you could possibly ask for about the Ghetto Boys.
Yeah, no, my only problem with this, and it has nothing to do with Willie D. Willie D, if you're listening, because I'm sure that you check people's comments, I have nothing but nice things to say about you. No, it was just all the boxing. It just gets boring. It gets boring when they talk about boxing, and it gets boring when they talk about UFC. And I'm a UFC guy, and I still don't want to hear it, you know?
But he was a boxer. And I never knew that they had to register their hands as weapons.
So
Well, they're not really registered. It's like once you
they
become a
are.
professional boxer. No, but you don't. There's not a registry for weapons that you go down. And you're like,
but is that-
see these?
The knuckle sandwich
is that
DMV.
true? Like, if you're a boxer and you go get into a bar fight, you're going to be held more accountable in a court of
if you
law
killed them with your
than-
hands, yeah.
Than if that guy killed you with their hands, like you're a murderer either fucking way.
Well, again, if it's self-defense, it's self-defense. That's totally different. But there's also a higher standard. Because in self-defense, think about it, Simon, like, if you're attacking me and you're a trained fighter and I shoot you, that makes total sense. Right? Because I can't defend myself. I have a gun. You've attacked me.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also like, did I shoot you 4 times in the head or did I shoot you once in the leg? You know what I mean? These are all things like you got to realize self-defense it's not always as cut and dry. Although sometimes you cut a guy's head off and you get 10 years.
But can you imagine?
5, Matt. 5. And you eat his face.
Could you imagine when you started listening to Willie D that you'd find out that he loves fucking with people, with trolls on Twitter and stuff?
What do you mean?
Well, he was like, I love killing people on Twitter.
Yeah.
I thought he would be above it, too old for it, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't engage in Twitter.
No, but I kind of see how like the old school guys, you know, if you're like a kid, a newer kid, I think you probably understand you're either going to partake or you're not, you ignore it, you know? But maybe if you're an old school guy, it's still like such an affront. You can't talk to me that way. Doesn't matter if it's on the internet or in real life.
Well, I feel like he's the type of guy that would show up at your house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I have nothing but nice things to say about the guy.
Listen, that like 90s hip hop era was like a different, like watching that dude perform last night at the boxing match, the last guy that performed after YG, something James, whatever the fuck his name was. I was like, if you took this guy back to New York in the 90s, he would get the fucking shit kicked out of him. Like, it was just a different.
Well, I liked how he was like, you know, I was writing about what I knew, which was being just like a guy on the streets, but I wasn't in gangs. I didn't understand that lifestyle, so I couldn't sing about it, you know?
But he was pulling out guns when people said they didn't have money for the
Well,
show.
again, he lived whatever code he lived by. It just wasn't a gangbanging.
But to Matt's point about the new hip hop, that was the other super interesting part about this is the documentary that he's working on. Maybe he's working on with Mike Judge.
Well, they should. That's what this whole podcast should. After all the stories about how the album covers were made and shit, it should have just been just about that. It was so interesting.
Do you guys realize I've brought this up before, right? What he's talking about, what his documentary is
The
about?
meeting?
Yeah. I brought it up on this podcast. Hopefully some listener can fish it up. I brought it up in total conjecture because I was like, I heard secondhand this Fugazi. I brought it up to you because I was like, it's the perfect conspiracy story that you would love about like this backroom meeting with
So
all
you
the
don't-
heads
You don't
of.
think it exists?
I didn't because again, where I heard it from and like just the way it was told to me.
Tripoli's talked about it before.
No, but it totally makes sense when you think about like where that music is today.
Yes and no. I mean, this was my problem with the argument is, and then he brought it up like one of the biggest artists in music right now is Kendrick Lamar.
Or
who is-
Drake is even bigger.
Sure, but I mean, again, I'm using Kendrick as the good example because Drake raps about some fucking frivolous shit. Kendrick's stuff is very
Conscious.
very grounded, very conscious, has a message. So I'm with him that
But it's not mumble rap.
no, but that's
You
my
understand what he's saying.
but this is my point is I get what he's saying that the majority that were shoved down our throat is this mumble rap shit, but there's still a large swath of hip hop that is very conscious. That
Well, yeah, because there are still guys who are fucking real artists who are trying to buck the trend.
But they don't make a lot of money.
No, they do. That's
Well,
what I'm saying. Kendrick Lamar is
makes
a
a ton of
fucking- yeah.
money.
We'll see on his next album. But no, I agree with that. What was interesting back to Drake is he's Prince. The guy who signed the Ghetto Boys is the guy who signed Drake. Bring it all full circle. Like there's something about Houston and just Texas in general. So many people come from there.
Where's Outkast from?
Georgia. ATL. ATLians.
Atlanta.
But like Jamie Foxx is from Texas. I was just thinking there was so many
You're
talented
forgetting
people
it's
come
a
from.
it's a huge state.
It's big as
It's
Canada.
true. Texas seems kind of like the Denmark of the
You're
United
forgetting, though.
States.
In that
It's a
it produces
huge-
all these people.
It's a huge melting pot. It has a massive border with Mexico.
Tons of wealth.
Austin is yet tons of wealth. Austin's like super artsy. South by Southwest has been going on for decades.
Very
And it's progressive
very
in Austin.
Denmark like.
What? Because they have a piece of Greenland too.
Texas owns a small piece.
Possibly.
But they were saying that if you make this conscious rap, we can't make money off it. Where if you make mumble rap, we can make lots of money of it. I mean, and that
Or
has
maybe it's just
worked.
when guys like De La Soul and, they were making music with a message or whatever, and then they wanted to spread a different message, which was black people don't care about anything but gang banging and, that's what that was all about. It wasn't anything to do with making money. It was about discrediting a group of people.
in the hopes to make money. I mean, that's the only thing these record executives are there for, right? They're not
Unless
there
they're
for-
trying to control a narrative that's going to...
So this is more of a winds of change.
Hold on, you can do both.
You can do both.
They're not
yes.
mutually exclusive.
No,
Let's get that straight.
absolutely not. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is a spot where they're making. I just don't think it's so cut and dry. Like they're just. I think they're.
Hear me out though. Can I?
Let's watch his documentary. And we'll see.
Sure. But my only
if
argument,
it ever comes out.
Simon, my only argument to that would be that this deep in rap, knowing that we have the Master P's and the Jay-Z's, the people that have the money to do their own thing and buck the trend, they're not. You know what I mean? So it's not like I would agree with you in the 90s when the music industry was controlled by all the big players. It's a different game now, and there's guys out there that have made so much money in rap that they could start labels and put all these guys. Like, I don't know. I agree with you that I think they did twist the narrative a bit. I don't think they were. I don't know.
Do you know any of the Ghetto Boys music?
Of course he
And you
does.
liked them?
Love the.
They were. This is so interesting hearing this podcast, not knowing anything about the Ghetto Boys, because when they were big, it was very hard to find information about. There'd be articles in like Rolling Stone about this controversial group, but there was no internet to look them up.
But I remember again, like 2 Live Crew, Black Sheep. There was multiple. It wasn't hard to find controversial rap back then.
I felt Black Sheep is more conscious rap though.
Yeah, I would equate
put him in
that
that
more with
category.
like the
But again, I remember them trying to edit that. I remember
Tribe
that.
Called Quest.
Tribes, De La, they were all friends. That was all that same crew of dudes.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Well, I know you know, but we're having a conversation.
Hey, take it easy.
Takades. What were we talking about right before? I wanted to tell you something. Right before.
Texas, Houston, Denmark.
No. Music.
Ghetto Boys, you know their songs. Gangster Love.
Gangster Boogie.
Mind of Lunatic. No,
Isn't
Gangster
that
Boogie is
Ghetto
the sample. And Gangster Boogie?
Yeah.
Gangsta
That's the
Boogie.
Ghetto
It's
Boys,
called
though,
the
right?
Gangster
Oh,
Loves.
that's called the Gangster Love. Anyways, whatever. Yeah.
Damn, it feels good
Yeah,
to be a
no,
gangster.
I do think, though, that I think something went on there. I'm with him.
The meeting.
Just it really, the whole gangster rap and I don't know, man. Like, sorry, where's the progression there? So, like, NWA is what year?
Early 90s, 91.
93?
And when is like, well, when does Tribe start, let's say?
1995.
After that.
Well, a different coast. NWA is the West Coast. This is Tribe was probably going in the 90s. For sure they were. The BC Boys. Run DMC.
It says NWA originated in 86, according to this.
No. And then they crumbled in 91.
Active years 87 to 91, 99 to 2000, and then partial reunion, which we know is just fucking
The 99
total
2000
bullshit.
doesn't count.
That
So in 1990.
that Florida.
Broward County.
Yeah, wherever that is. Because isn't that the same place where they got what's his face?
Max Hardcore.
Yeah, Max
yes, it is
Hardcore.
exactly
And
the
that's where
same
XM
place. Yeah.
Testacion was from. They got killed.
Yeah, they get a lot of people for
No, but they didn't
indecency.
try and get him for something.
He was apparently just mugged, but who knows?
This says Tribe Called Quest 1985.
Yeah, there you go. So look, everything's kind of happening at the same time. So rap can go in two very different directions at that point. And the one that ended up getting the dollars and
Was
the
negative.
publicity was not the good one. I mean,
But we also
they were
know
both
that-
fine, but not the
But we also
the
know that-
enlightening one.
But the media never follows the positive stories. We know that. So the media is always going to follow the group called Latitude and not a tribe called Quest. I'm just saying that, that's a common narrative
They
still
should
to
have
this
changed
day.
Tribe to the N-word. What I was going to say is it depends when this meeting happened as well. Was this in 85, this meeting?
And I don't think it was just rap, by the by.
Maybe not. But yeah, Kamar makes a good point too. When was this meeting? Was it 79? Was it 85? Was it 95? You know what I mean? Like,
I bet you it was 85. I bet you it was right when...
I think it's after Willie D is big.
but again, I think about Wu-Tang. Like, Wu-Tang is arguably the largest, most recognized rap group in the world. And I'm not saying they're conscious rap, but I wouldn't exactly say like it's like overtly violent or like in nature. You know what I mean? It's a tough, I mean, again, I would say like if you think about Ghostface, All That I Got Is You, that song could make you cry to this day.
I heard somebody make an interesting statement the other day, which was rap used to be all about selling drugs,
Now it's
and now
using
it's all
drugs.
about using drugs.
Would you be making more dependent society?
It's just interesting. I don't know what it means, but it's an
Well, whether you like him or
interesting
not, Drake is the biggest in the world.
Biggest rapper in the world.
Yeah.
And he talks about hanging out in clubs, popping champagne bottles, and
Yeah.
Oh, no, he definitely has no conscious. Well, God's plan might have. I don't know. Drake is, I think because he came from Degrassi, Canada, whatever, he just is.
he's playing Obama in a biopic. Did you see that in biopic?
But he is
What's the right way to say that? Biopic?
As big as
Biopic?
Elvis or the Beatles.
Biopic.
I think it's biopic too, but I think biopic is the way you say it because it's a biopic.
Wouldn't that be two words?
No, I don't think so.
And he ruined Johnny Manziel's life.
Who ruined Johnny?
Or he
Drake.
made it better.
Drake.
He showed him that lifestyle, and then Johnny was like, "This is a lifestyle I want to have."
I still don't understand the argument though. If he had just played, he could have that lifestyle. It's so
he
fucking
didn't want
stupid.
to play.
Yeah, well, he's an idiot.
Well, he's doing all right.
No, he's not.
Yeah. Watch this podcast. You'll see he's doing all right.
Well, I mean, he's doing all right. Sure, he's doing better than I am, but
He's-
he's not doing as good as he
Listen-
could be.
Listen to the podcast.
If you ever want to know what goes on in Johnny Manziel's head or where he's
I
come
mean,
from.
I don't personally.
Never in my life have I been like, I wonder what Johnny Manziel's
There's
thinking right now.
zero interest in that, but yeah, I hear you.
I did for sure when it was coming up. It was always the TMZ or whatever. Like that's the thing that we have now that we didn't have when the Ghetto Boys out, and they were such a name. Who know? Are these guys killers? Like, are they bad people? You can now find out anything about anyone, and this gave me amazing closure. I would have loved this 20 years ago.
Well, it's funny because it brought up in my head immediately. I was like, you know what? I remember when 50 Cent came on the scene, and I'm talking about before his big album. I remember hearing about like when I got Power of the Dollar and hearing that he got shot 9 times. I remember like when you hear he got shot 9 times, for some reason that gives him more
He was real,
like
of the
cred.
real
Yeah, you know what I
coming
mean?
out.
Like,
Well,
yeah.
no, I remember
And it was like,
so
dude,
much.
this guy is fucking. And again, his rap mirrored that.
Yeah.
It was like it was fucking
image was
hard
tough
street
core,
New
like,
York
oh,
to the fucking
the
bone.
game has changed.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like, and then his album dropped, and it was just he was the biggest thing since sliced fucking bread. But again, I'm thinking about that shit too. Like, I think nowadays, and then I'm like, well, the baby is like the same thing.
Don't
like,
you think Eminem gave him his cred though?
No, I heard about him.
Eminem, Dr. Dre.
Hold on, Eminem got him the mainstream for sure. But again, I heard about like when I heard Power of the Dollar, there's a song on Power of the Dollar that is like one of the best rap songs ever, and it's vintage 50 Cent. It's incredible.
When he's shitting on all the other rappers.
No, that one's incredible too. How to Rob an Industry. That song is
that's
fucking
the best.
incredible.
Well, he was huge with the mixtapes too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
massive. That's why he ran that. I mean, you saw that thing. The whole, with K.
I'm
Slay.
just
and-
trying to
yeah.
remember.
That's a bummer about the internet. Mixtapes were amazing. And how you couldn't just, they weren't just everywhere.
No,
There
it
was
was
only
New
so
York.
many. And
Well, there was like the down south.
but even there were stores in Toronto that would get like 20 mixtapes from New York City and like music you would never hear. Like, what? This exists? And now it's all out there.
Dude, I went
From
to
here.
I went to New York with my family in like 2003 or something, and I came home with like a fucking stack of mix
And
CDs. Like,
the music was so good. And sometimes not even that good because there's some guy screaming all over the tape, you know?
How
DJ
do you
Cosmos.
know what to buy?
Just the DJ's names had
yeah, it was
cred.
like again, if you saw a G Unit K Slay mixtape,
Then you knew it
you
was gonna be
you know
something.
well you I mean again, they were usually like $5, Simon. So you were just like, here, take 50, give me 10 of these, and the Asian guy then ran away.
It wasn't. It wasn't one of the guys who came up to you and was like, "I'm in a band."
Oh
buy
no!
my album.
When I lived in New York, you got that all the time. Guys
what I-
accosting you all the time. Yo, my man, come here for 1 minute. You got time to listen to this mixtape? Oh, that was the fucking worst.
Well, they had their
And they're
headphones
so
ready
nice
go.
to you, and then as soon as you tell them you don't want to buy their album, they get really mean.
fuck
Fuck you
Super
then, man.
aggressive.
That's marketing. Now,
That's marketing. That's Whole Foods model.
I know it's sort of a point of contention, but what do you think Kanye's rap is?
What do I think? What?
Kanye's rap.
I can't stand.
Like, he wasn't negative.
I hate his voice. I don't like listen. He should make beats. That's what he should. Stay in his lane. I don't think anyone at this point wants to hear what Kanye has to say. And the fact that he has a rap career is shocking to me. Through the Wire was interesting because that's interesting. It should have ended there.
Biographical.
Well, again, just to rap through a wired jaw is also.
I like Kanye's music.
But
Yeah, but you don't. But
No,
could
but
you
I hate Kanye.
hold on? Could you right now? Drop me half a bar? No, because you don't give a shit about what he's saying.
I could sing a lot of things from the one with Jay-Z. I know a lot of that.
Watch the Throne.
Yeah, I think I know like 5 songs on that.
So Otis,
But I'd have
obviously.
to have them playing.
Makes it easier.
I know that.
You'd rock
I
your head
know,
along to it.
Black Bag.
Mm-hmm. Ziggas in Paris.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
ball so hard.
yeah, that's another one.
I just said that. That's not another one.
No.
He puts another finger to
No. And then there's
Prime Time. Prime Time is incredible.
No, there's another really good song on that album. It has Mr. Hudson in it.
I don't remember.
Gold Digger.
Nope, it's not on that album.
Oh,
Wow, you know that
look
was-
at him go.
See, I don't know that.
He was trying to catch him.
The,
He was trying
the
to catch him.
workout song. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
This is not my question though. It's like we were sort of talking about the subject matter of rappers, and you see Kanye more of a positive rapper than a negative rapper. Whether you like,
I just don't believe what he's saying. He's not a guy where I'm like, oh shit, he said it. I'm like, he said that because it has the best rhyme. That's why Kanye put that shit.
But I'm
in
sure
there.
you had an idea of Kanye before, like say his first foray into be a madness was the Breakfast Club interview or whatever. He was on TMZ, started talking about black people's slavery as a choice or whatever. All these crazy things. But before then, you'd have a different opinion of him and what he raps
Well,
about.
actually, when you first thought Kanye was off the hook was...
Taylor Swift.
I was going to say where he said
George Bush doesn't
hates
like black people.
But in retrospect, like George Bush hated black people, you know?
So he still had credibility back then. Anyways, that
Hold on.
doesn't matter.
I want to go back, though. I wasn't finished my thought. Because to the conspiracy thing, so...
The meeting, you mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it like this. If you ask someone of our generation to name the 5 best rappers of all time, there's a good chance 3 names would come up like fairly often. Nas is probably going to be in there a lot. Jay-Z is probably going to be in there a lot. You might get some Big Pun. What are some other names?
You get Notorious B.I.G.
Yep, you'll probably get some Biggie, some Pac. You know what I mean? But none of those guys, I mean, Biggie, I guess, had some gun rap and some gangster shit, some drug shit for sure. But like Nas was just like ghetto storytelling. Jay-Z, I guess, some drug shit. But
Nas, I think, even had some positivity.
my point, though, is if you ask kids now when they're our age what the top 5 rappers are, they're probably going to pick, like Simon's saying, people that aren't lifting up the community or the culture at all.
They'll say Kodak Black, Lil Pump.
There you go. People that are, it's just
Tekashi
trash,
6ix9ine.
trash rap with no fucking, almost no value at all.
They might say J. Cole.
Maybe. Or Kendrick. Again, maybe. Because I actually, as an old head, I think Kendrick Lamar, in my opinion, is the best rapper of all time.
Technically.
In all aspects. He's released nothing but, what you could argue he's released nothing but classics. That's impossible in rap.
But it's not, like your popularity and success is what makes you the best rapper of all time.
No, and I agree. But so even technically speaking, he has multiple cadences. He can change up his flow style. He can, it's almost like jazz.
Give me your top 3.
Right now, top 3
top
rappers of
3
all
What's,
time.
rappers
what's the
all
criterion?
time. Just
Make
your
your own
personal top 3.
Okay, I'm going to say Kendrick, Nas, and Big Pun.
Drake, Eminem, and Nas.
Drake, really?
It's his
yeah,
list.
Yeah, it's his list.
You'd be surprised when a song's playing, you don't know it's Drake.
I
Fuck,
say
like that song.
Beastie Boys.
Well, that's a weird one. You're putting 3 lyrics.
Outkast.
Okay.
Yeah, that's different.
Outkast is a great fuck. But let me ask you this.
Say
Is
Wu-Tang. I thought it was a rapper, a person. Like,
Is it, because yeah, Wu-Tang, again, if it's groups, like Wu-Tang is in my top 3. But if we're asking individually,
rapper.
Wu-Tang, you can't even, it wouldn't even be a group.
who's your
you know
favorite
what I mean?
rapper on Tribe Called Quest?
And Tribe was my 3rd.
But who's your favorite rapper?
Fife.
No, but
Fife
they're
Dog.
a group to me.
But I think you'd say Q-Tip.
I was a Fife guy myself.
I wasn't a Fife guy because I never liked the
I was a
higher
Fife guy.
voice dudes.
I was a
I
Fife
truly
guy.
feel, if you ask me though, Jay Dilla made Tribe Called Quest.
He made a lot of those bands, man.
Yeah, but I think that in particular, I think them in particular, he was a huge, because their sound changed once he got involved drastically, and they became like, because again, we just said they started in '85.
That's sort of, I think I'd call it backpack rap.
Yeah, backpack rap for sure.
Who's your favorite MC of the Beastie Boys?
Ad Rock.
Oh, see, I'm a Mike D guy, I think.
Are you? That's interesting. He's a weirdo.
Oh, the weirdest of
I
all.
think
of them.
Ad Rock is the one who
Nobody
excited
ever
me the
says
most.
MCA.
But MCA was the
That's
best
sad.
of the 3 of them.
No, I think Mike D was the best of the 3.
I think MCA was.
Okay, well, fair enough.
But I like Ad
But
Rock.
Ad
like,
Rock was
like
my guy.
A front man, exactly.
He was like the most obviously Jewish.
They're all Jewish.
He was my dude. Yeah,
but
he
was
the most
unhidably Jewish, is
obviously
what Simon was
Oh,
saying.
Leno's. Your favorite rapper, Wu-Tang?
Adam Horowitz.
Ghostface.
Or no, was that MCA?
Method Man.
What?
Although, you know what? It might be Old Dirty. If you catch me on...
Oh, my
there's something,
favorite to Wu-Tang.
Well, just because that track came
There's
out.
something about, yeah.
I'm not a Wu-Tang guy, so... Yeah, I know.
What does
weird.
that even mean?
It's weird. I just, like, when all my friends were into Wu-Tang, like, I liked it. I could listen to it, but I never, like, ran out and bought their albums. I definitely didn't have... Like, I probably had a Wu-Tang album, but I didn't have, like, a...
You have the
Ghostface album or
It's so weird you say
Old Dirty album.
It's
or,
so weird you say
know?
that, because out of all of them, Ghostface is the one whose solo career has been by far the most steady, the best. He's probably released 7 incredible albums.
Yeah, he has features as
I think
well.
His featured, Ghostface is,
like Cream was that.
Yep, that's Wu-Tang.
well, the rappers on
I think
Cream.
that's the only album I had.
I think Cream is the best rap song of all time.
Interesting.
It's interesting because I look at it like sometimes I want rap music that you could dance to.
Yeah.
And like
I get
a
it.
lot
Cream-
of rap you can't dance to. It's more like just for bob your head. But I like that too. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's for
And
cruising around a
Eminem
car.
isn't on my list, but I'm happy every time I hear an Eminem song. You know what I mean?
I just meant the technical like, that he did.
I mean, Eminem's a tough one
Every
because,
song,
again,
and I don't agree with him or like him now.
But he definitely didn't have uplifting lyrics.
No, he was more like the Ghetto Boys.
Well, he was more like, I'm going to rape my mother.
I'm
and-
sure he's influenced by the Ghetto Boys.
I mean, again, though, I would say, like, Eminem, Necro was way worse. If you ever listen to a Necro song, Eminem is tame compared to any Necro
he's like
song you've heard.
horrorcore rap or
What
whatever.
did,
Yeah.
it was OPP. Is that what they got in trouble
Naughty by
for?
Nature.
No, that was Naughty by Nature.
No, I know.
Naughty by Nature didn't get in
Oh,
trouble.
they didn't get, it was Two Life,
Life
Crew,
Crew.
that got in trouble. What was Two Life Crew's song?
Me So Horny.
That was the song?
Well, they had a few, but Me So Horny was
Well,
like,
what was like the song that got them in trouble?
They had women
All of them,
dancing in
dude.
cages.
do you not
The
remember?
lyrics just bother people because it's all about fucking women. Running trains. Me and my homeboy like
CB4?
Hold on.
Amazing movie. Come on.
CB4, Chris Rock.
So good.
Do you guys, I don't know if you remember this, but Two Live Crew played Ottawa and got finger banged on stage at Babylon by one of the guys in Two Live Crew.
Did you just edit that out in the moment?
Yeah, in the moment
Wow,
I
that's
edited that out.
amazing.
You like that?
That was amazing.
don't know.
Because I was going to say, you really want to give yourself extra work at this
No,
point?
that was it. I just muted all the mics, said it.
That really happened?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. With her boyfriend there.
By what?
Yeah. Ramey's brother.
By
was
who?
dating her at the time.
By who?
They're going to be able to track it down.
I can't remember who. I just that
Dude,
was
that's insane.
Luke Skywalker.
but like their live show,
It
Simon.
wasn't Luke Skywalker, was it?
He was the lead.
The point is their live
I don't know who committed the sexual act on stage.
No.
their live shows were something else.
No, I'm saying I thought it was like a play on Luke Skywalker. His name was just Luke Skywalker, like the movie.
I think his name was Luther Campbell.
He was born Lucas Skywalker, Simon. Yes.
No, he was.
I'm looking it up.
No,
I wasn't
I'm
a big
sorry.
Two Live
I
Crew guy,
thought
to be
it might
honest.
have been like Luke Skinwalker or something.
You could dance to Two Live Crew.
Could
Can we
you?
dance again?
I don't think I remember Two Life Crew at all. I think for a long time I've been getting Two Life Crew and Naughty by Nature mixed up.
Can dance to Naughty by Nature too. A lot of people say he's one of the best MCs.
Who?
Who?
Tretch?
From
Yeah.
because if you hear Uptown Anthem, like
I've
I hate
also
to say the word drop bars, but he drops crazy bars like rhyming and like saying all the words.
I've also heard from many people he is not the dude to fuck with ever.
He's a physical specimen of some sort.
Who are
I
the,
heard he's like still deep in the streets. Like he's
Who were the two guys who got famous, or maybe they won like an Oscar or a Grammy?
Fresh
Milli
Prince.
Vanilli.
No. Fuck.
Because that was the first rap.
No, they
Grammy
were
ever.
like gangsters. They were from maybe Atlanta.
Mobb Deep.
No.
MOP.
No.
MOP is the
What's
hardest.
MOP?
365 Mafia.
365 Mafia. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, DJ Paul.
Because
and
what did they get famous
Pimp
for?
C?
Wasn't it a movie they were in where they did they do Hustle and Flow?
Hustle and Flow
and
was
they
was
won-
that's
Hustle
what
and
they
Flow
were.
was based on them.
So they won
sort
an
of.
Oscar.
Yeah, but
Their
that was
song
like.
was in it,
But they
yeah.
were they were huge way before they won
Oh,
an
they
Oscar.
were?
Oh,
I thought
they
that's
were,
what made them famous.
Those guys are like down south legends. Pocket Full of Stones is like that's like early 90s.
Well, that's the other thing that is so interesting about the South, as it were. Like he was talking about.
Got a pocket full of stones.
I can't remember MC Zero or whatever. It's like if you don't know the words of that song, you don't know
Yeah.
anything.
Just
Never
like
heard of
about
the
Houston,
guy.
yeah.
He's a legend of the South. Like,
Well, the South had its own big thing before, like even before Master P and
T.I. I sort of put in that.
well, no, but I was gonna say who like the Hot Boys. What was that record label with Juvenile and the
I think that was Master
Big
P.
Timers? No, that wasn't Master P. It was
Was it Birdman?
yeah, Birdman's label. What was the label though?
Cash Money.
Cash Money. Thank you. Though even before Cash Money and No Limit Records, there was a huge rap scene in the
Didn't
South.
you watch that thing? That documentary is amazing.
The 5-part one. Of
Yeah.
all the- yeah.
It tells you everything. It's more than 5 parts. It's 10 parts now because there were two
Those 2 seasons, yeah.
But it seemed like there was a progression of like every couple of years, there was like the toughest, baddest. Like, sort of started with, Jesus, shut up, bitch. 50 Cent. Then Rick Ross came out, but then decided he stole his name. It didn't work out.
Well, and he was a corrections officer.
He just wasn't what he was saying he was. But people still liked him.
The not real Rick Ross.
Yes, the fake Rick Ross, yeah.
Well, I believe his name is Rick Rose now.
Ricky Rose, yeah.
But that
He actually had to change his name?
No, but he goes,
That-
it's like Puff Daddy.
that thing definitely sort of stopped. I guess Nipsey Hussle was the last one, sort of in that
In what?
of successful, but talking street, and
I mean, Nipsey was something else.
the whole appeal to them is that they are rapping about their life and they are living that life they are. That has stopped now. The Migos changed it all. Even though they started with that, like trapping, they turned into fashion and just.
I mean, again, I always use Kendrick as that bar. It's tough to say. Like, rap has always had multiple sides. Rap has always been
But it seems like it's dominated by
multifaceted.
brag rap or whatever. I don't know how to, like, I don't see Kendrick rapping about cars or ice.
No,
or
that's
something
what I'm
like that.
saying but that's what I'm saying is there's still that other side of it. Like, I agree with you. There's tons of that fucking jewelry, money, lean.
I think that's the predominant theme now.
I mean, again, that's in the mainstream.
The Baby's interesting.
But just like
the Baby's the
anything
new
else,
50
you're
Cent.
gonna have guys bucking the trend.
But again, this is what I never finished the statement was if it was a long con, then they've come back and they're getting there because these kids are going to be like, oh, DaBaby. And again, this guy's murdered. Now I get it. They were all in self-defense, but like, you know, he's killed 3 people. And again, when I heard that, I was like, oh, this dude's real street. I love that.
It's
But,
the worst.
but you know what I mean? Is like, that's a terrible way of thinking about it. Like, you shouldn't look at someone who's had to kill someone in self-defense as like a better rapper. It has nothing.
no, but
none-
if you're going to rap about murdering people, but I want you to have murdered people.
Unfortunately.
And if you're not, then don't rap about that. Like, if what you know is tattooing your face and making money, then rap about that.
But
you
I mean,
know?
I don't think Jay-Z sold drugs long enough for him to have had the lengthy rap career rapping about selling drugs. You know what I mean? Like,
written more songs about selling drugs
Then he
the time
actually- yes, of
That
course.
would be interesting.
well, that's just
that'd be an interesting
questioning.
podcast to break that
That's
down.
just questioning Jay-Z's
He sold crack for
whatever.
summer.
But let's take a guy like Fiddy, because there was a dude you were really jacked on. Has he made enough albums to outweigh the amount of times he's got shot? You know, like, no, right?
but the thing is, here's the difference: is that when 50 Cent became famous, none of his shenanigans seemed to go away. Like, he didn't. Jay-Z became like a button-up businessman,
and married Beyonce.
yeah, and created this empire.
Oh, I'm with you.
50 Cent continues like Rick Ross. Like, he took all
He's
of
still a
Rick.
troll.
Oh my god, it's insane. Like, I feel like other than the gunplay, 50
He
didn't
keeps
really
He
change.
keeps the rap spirit going.
Yeah, for sure.
He hasn't been, but he's dodging taxes and stuff.
I don't need rappers to rap about selling drugs and shooting guns.
I don't
That's
either.
not the part of rap that like
But here's the weird thing.
gets me off.
But
you
here's the
know?
weird thing. I love that shit.
Oh, I like it too. I
you see-
love NWA.
Wait, you love selling drugs and stuff, or you love?
No, I
listening to
love
people sing
gun
about it?
music.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
fucking
Time and a place.
and I grew up in a fucking, like, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. It's a fucking affluent
Yeah.
middle class neighborhood.
It definitely seems though the negative message has outperformed the like. I'm just thinking Far Side.
Yeah.
Or Souls of
There. Oh
Mischief.
shit, that's another one. That's actually on my list ahead of who did I have on my list?
No, there's no way Far Side is.
Farside is really up there for me, man.
You have
They're
on
number
one
4.
album?
They're number 4.
But on
Time
one
in his
album?
life, the impact.
Yeah, on one album. I mean, their next album is okay with Running on it.
That's
or
what
Running
I'm-
Away.
but you
or
know what I'm
whatever.
saying is-
it's
yeah,
not even
Running.
close.
and
It's-
it all went to shit with Black Eyed Peas. Because they were like a cool, like the next Tribe Called Quest or the next Far Side or whatever sort of.
Well, before they had
conscious-
Fergie.
Before
oh
what?
no, Black Eyed Peas. What are you talking about?
No, he's right. Before
What?
Fergie joined Black Eyed Peas, they were like an
Was it Joints and
underground.
Jam? Was there like it was really cool. They were cool, man.
Well, I was thinking of Arrested Development.
Arrested
Development
Development.
were
That's
incredible.
cool.
They
That
were
was-
they were cool. They were like rapping about
Mr.
real shit.
Wendell.
The Fugees skated the line, but had great success.
Fugees were good though, man.
Yeah, they're all good, or you would not have
No,
heard of them.
I don't think Black Eyed Peas are good. My humps.
No,
my
no,
lovely
no, no.
lady bumps.
I'm gonna play a Black Eyed Peas song for you, the DJ Premier
Muzzle
remix.
top.
Something happened with the Black Eyed Peas that they went pop, and it just.
I don't know anything about how they started.
No, Kamar's right though.
Yeah, you're probably right. I
So
don't
that's
know
how you
anything.
get successful. There's actually a lot of gangster rap in England too, but we don't hear that
Trap.
at all.
Or drill, sorry.
And you know
UK
what?
drill.
When I said that I like gangster rap, I don't actually like it. I only like NWA.
We like Tupac.
I mean, I don't really like Tupac. I like the song Changes, which is the one everybody hates.
But like Biggie in a way is gangster
Yeah,
rap.
I'm not a Biggie fan.
But he wrote more songs about
Kicking the
being
door,
gangster than
waving the
he would-
4-4. Yeah.
Yeah,
P
I
Diddy.
got 7 Mac 11s about
definitely not a P
838s.
Diddy
Oh.
fan.
Well, P Diddy is. It's Notorious B.I.G. P Diddy, Notorious
Yeah,
B.I.G.
I know the story.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, if Biggie's alive today,
They
he's
break up.
a
they have nothing to
laughing
do with each
stock.
other. Biggie Smalls a laughing stock.
Yeah.
He's so
Because
fat.
of Puff Daddy. No, not because of his weight.
He'd have to separate himself.
Yes,
Because of Puff Daddy.
because Puff Daddy became such. He was. I'm telling you, if you listen to Ready to Die, that album is incredible.
It's
It
all-
is incredible.
It's all a cool story though. Like back to that documentary, just finding out all the backstory about Puffy and what was going on there. Like I didn't really know any of that.
I think the whole thing is like we've learned like with rap except for a very small percentage, it's not sustainable. That's why you see like LL Cool J becomes an actor, Ludacris becomes an actor, Ja Rule. I don't even know what he does.
I mean, I
He
can't
did.
believe that LL Cool
Just bring
J
up
didn't
Ja
make a
Rule.
lot of money off his rap career.
He did.
He did. I bet he's still making money off.
He did, and he had street respect. He had all those things that we talk about. Like,
Yeah, but I don't think he had. Sorry, I'm just saying I don't think he had to go to the movies because his rap career was drying up. You know what I mean? I think he just.
I think it's a lot
used
easier
one
to be an actor than to write hit songs.
Dude, we were eating lunch.
it?
We were eating lunch in a restaurant in LA, and I look up, and LL Cool J walks in, and I said, so loud, "Holy shit, that's LL Cool J!"
Your body just out of body experience.
And Mary was just like, "What the fuck?" He sits right behind me too. I'm just like,
When Willie D said he doesn't mind if like he causes suicides or whatever,
With the trolls?
it just makes people feel worse than they already do. Like I thought there was an ounce of truth to what he was saying. He actually believes that. But I don't think he's a mean man.
You know what,
He's
though?
just
If
a
you're
man.
going to go out and talk shit on the internet,
yeah.
you should be prepared for people to go and check your fucking pictures and
Tell you your kids are ugly.
I guess, just don't be a dick. If you were nice to Willie D, I 100% guarantee you Willie D would be nice to you. He does not seem like
He
the
loves
type
the
of
people loves
guy-
him and he hates the people that hate him.
But that's what I mean. If you go on there and you're talking shit to anybody, like, what do you expect?
And I think he made a good point about toxic masculinity. It was like, Joe, I'd like to talk about masculinity. It's like, please do. And how it doesn't exist.
Joe rolls out the carpet.
Where have you been? This is what we're talking about. In that, using the term toxic masculinity, then we have to have toxic feminism. Or like it's just the same thing as all right, far left, anti-fa.
Well, first of all, if you put the word toxic in front of just about anything, it's all automatically toxic veganism.
Toxic Judaism does not sound good.
But you know what I mean? Like,
That does not sound good.
that's what I'm saying. So automatically it's
Somehow
pejorative.
we've got to take toxic back.
We got to take toxic back.
Yeah, it should only be used for the dumps.
Yeah.
Let's bring toxic back to the dumps.
Like a toxic dump
Holy shit. Yes, like a toxic dump.
with three-eyed fish.
You got it.
I'm in.
Like Springfield. That's actually going to be our mascot. Let's make toxic great again.
I didn't know how much I cared about Willie D till I heard him on
Nada?
a 3-hour podcast.
No.
Let's make
Mata?
Mata.
Mata.
It's very Mata.
No, it's not because it's make toxic great
And
again.
even though
Make
Mat
toxic.
MTGA.
Oh.
Mataga.
It's
Mount Ga.
Mitga.
Whatever.
even though I see Mike Judge
Oh yeah, he
as
was
being
there.
an excellent guest. You know what I mean? Silicon Valley, Beavis and Butthead. I don't know what. Yeah, I like Beavis and Butthead. I remember I was in rehab when I found out about Beavis and Butthead, and a kid was telling me about it. And trying to explain a cartoon, you can't.
But even one as obscure as Beavis and Butthead, because there's really no plot.
Well, there's sort of a cartoon reaction video.
Yeah, in a way.
They
Yeah.
put on like a rock song and then they make jokes about it. But
Cool.
it's sort of like he was like, "You've never heard of Beavis and Butthead? Like, this is the coolest thing." And I'm trying to understand it. And by the time I got to see it, it was like too big, and I didn't like it. But I could see the going home drunk after the bar, and if it was on, watching it. But
It's really cool that Mike Judge created Beavis and Butthead, which is like, again, if you think about it now, a lot of cartoons start off really rudimentarily drawn, but like from that, like Hank Hill was a character in
King
Beavis
of
and
the
Butthead.
Hill.
Like he was the neighbor. That,
he
they keep
also- he-
whacking off in Matul.
he also is the voice for Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he did. And Hank Hill.
But he seems. What I was trying to say is, lots he could talk about. You do Idiocracy or something.
Yeah.
A really good movie.
Yeah.
Plus Silicon Valley, so he knows something. You know, when you watch Silicon Valley, like someone knows a lot about something, and there's heard a lot of stories.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem that interesting. Even he didn't get to talk in this at all.
I totally disagree.
But he seems very dry. And
I get. I think you just mean his delivery. Like
no, I was thinking Mike Judge was going to be like a Matt Stone or a Trey Parker sort of
they'd
thing.
be great guests.
But he just seemed very conservative, and I'm sure it'll be interesting, and I'm sure it's going to go on.
I think sorry. Go on.
I'm sure he's going to go on the podcast now. I mean, he's from
He
Texas.
lives in Austin. doesn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He hangs out with Willie D. He was going for dinner with Willie D after the podcast, and Joe got invited to that. So that's just interesting bedfellows.
He's obviously a fucking rad dude. Mike Judge.
Yeah, he has to be.
Think about it.
He
He
has to
made
be.
Office Space
I
and
know.
he hangs out with Willie D. Like
Yeah.
that sounds
you.
like my type of dude.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
The way he was well behaved in the studio and just sort of like
a
wasn't
nice
He's a
guy.
fucking good
he wa-
guy.
he's a great guy. He wasn't.
Like you got to know Joe pretty fucking well to pull a Donnell.
Okay. What happens if he goes on the podcast and he's not interesting? Say I was wrong. Whatever.
I'll say I'm wrong.
Okay, fine.
I won't. I'll die on that hill.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all I said. But you can't tell anything about him. He said, "I'd love to come back." He's going to come back. Always thought it'd be a guest I wanted, and he demonstrated how Donnell should behave if he's sitting in on a podcast.
Has Seth MacFarlane ever been on Rogan?
No, I wouldn't care for that one.
That's an issue. You don't like the Family Guy?
I like it. I've
Matt
seen.
Groening on Rogan?
Are you digging up a conspiracy here?
No, I'm
he's
looking
asking.
for good.
No, I'd
guests.
rather Matt and Trey would be.
Oh, that's where. What's going on with that?
How have they not been on?
But any of those three, I think, be interesting.
Yeah.
I say Seth MacFarlane would probably be the least of the Matt Groening or Trey Parker or Matt Stone.
You don't like him because he's too liberal. Is that the idea?
I think.
And why don't you like him?
I think he's fake.
You think he's fake?
I used to like him, and then I saw enough interviews, and he's sort of a weirdo.
Do you think the Office guy is fake?
Ricky.
Gervais.
No, I've heard of. He's done enough podcasts. Like he is what he is.
Okay.
I don't dislike him.
Yeah,
What were you lifting your hands about? Football?
the Vikings are up by 1 point. They scored a touchdown with 46 seconds left.
Lions coach got fired.
Well, I mean, come on.
Well, no, it's kind of crazy you fire coach mid-season. Like this is
Oh, it
like
just shows you what's
fucking
going down.
ridiculous. They're
We will not
They're not
stand for
making the
this.
playoffs. It doesn't matter. You might as well ride
both
it out.
teams I have in my fucking pool.
Sorry.
Not the Lions.
I think so. No?
Why?
Why would you ever?
Because
yeah,
I think I picked
just-
them for you, and I think I picked Minnesota for
A
you.
bold-
That's how I
Hold on,
roll.
hold on. Preseason, at least mine wasn't a bad pick on paper. Terrible pick on paper, right? Yours was a questionable pick on paper.
Yeah, it's
I paid as much for Minnesota as I did for Baltimore
Baltimore's a better pick.
That doesn't make any sense.
in my pool. Yeah, doesn't make any sense. I must have been really high. No, it was during COVID. It was weird, man. It didn't feel right.
Anyways, I really hope that Willie D gets that documentary done.
Well, I have to watch that.
And
it's coming out. By the
He also said this is the type of thing you talk about. People say, "You sure you want to put that out?"
maybe he was just trying to sell his movie.
Maybe he was just trying to sell his documentary. I mean,
Are you really gonna split hairs over the
well,
fact
no,
that I said movie?
No, I was
It's
confused. I was like,
it's
was there a movie or something?
This is the question.
it's
This is the
it
question.
is a
Sorry,
movie.
Simon.
If he's having this, you shouldn't make that movie made. How many credible people is he actually going to have on it?
Well, this is it. And how will it be like, it could be detrimental
Yeah.
if it, when they ask more questions than they answer.
Oh, you hate that.
Well, don't we all?
Yeah. It's 4:20, Simon. Fire up, buddy. I see you.
Do you know that chess is just selling out all over the place?
Yeah,
Speaking of movies.
We spoke about this last week.
Oh, right on.
He was pissed.
Still is.
I'm not. Listen, that's I'm not pissed. That's
The
how
most
the world
popular
works, you know
Netflix
what I mean?
production ever.
It's they push a narrative and then they profit off the said narrative. Like we're watching poetry in motion here, fellas.
And
Wait till season 2 comes out and we find out she's trans.
there cannot be a season 2.
But then that you would actually like that because it meant that the female champion was actually a man.
And everything's
Oh
normal
my
again.
God.
Full
circle.
See, you're totally missing the point. I have no problem with men.
No, I know, but historically it was inaccurate. What I'm saying though is,
But apparently it wasn't. Apparently there was a.
yeah, but she had nothing to do with it.
I didn't. I have to read more into it.
I like the term beat the brakes.
Like beat the brakes off someone.
He was mentioning how he beat the brakes off the guy that beat him the time. And I have a buddy who does a joke where he's like, I was over in Europe and they'll threaten you like by doing plastic surgery to you, like I'll rearrange your eyebrows or put your nose where your ear is. But in Canada, we sort of say we're going to, if we start a fight, we'll do a chore for you. Like I'll clean your clock. I'll rearrange your barn doors. It was just a funny thought. And clean. Oh, well, Mike Judge will come back, and the boxing was weird.
I'll
but
wash the floor with your face. It's a good point. We do that a lot.
It is. It's some sort of chore. Like, oh, really? I could use that. It's funny.
It is.
I'll come over and do your laundry.
I'll
It's
rearrange
never
your
like
clothes.
that.
I'll rearrange your brakes.
No, but we should start doing that though.
I'll change your fucking tires, bud. Keep it
Because
up.
I bet you would really throw someone a curveball if you were like, "I'll fucking come to your house and goddamn,
And shovel your walk, you son of a bitch.
yeah, you know."
I will clean your fucking eaves troughs if you
That's-
take another step closer.
Exactly. That's the kind of thing that someone's like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
I'll rake your lawn.
I'm going to do your taxes. That actually sounds like a bad one. I'm going to do your taxes.
Yeah, because you could fuck them over. yeah.
No, just in general.
It's a real cerebral threat because you're going to fuck up their taxes, have way more money. It's so devious.
But wait, I applied for CERB this year, so can you?
Oh,
Okay, well, let's rate it then. Sounds like we're done.
Yeah.
Start with you, Sly.
I'll give this one a 3.5.
this is a 4.5. It would have been a 5 if Mike Judge was here, but that whole thing threw it off.
No, it's didn't get more because of all the boxing talk. If you want to talk boxing, you're gonna substantially lower the rating you get in this space.
Either way, because of the boxing, I'll give it a 4.5 with Kamar. I agree. It was a really good episode, dude.
This was a really good episode. Unless you hate rap, hate people from the South, and hate Willie D.
Someone on the
I thought he was gonna say hate black people.
Someone-
Just throw that one in
the-
there
the-
too, Kamar.
Just real quick, someone on the Reddit brought up that Joe, and I didn't go back to check because I'd already listened to it and I didn't catch this, but I guess at one point Joe was like, I remember delivering papers on my bike listening to Ghetto Boys. And the person pointed out that like the Ghetto Boys came out in around 89 and that Joe would have been like probably graduated high school by that point. So how was he?
He was delivering papers,
he was
but in
driving
his
a car,
car,
yeah.
not on
Okay,
it.
okay,
He must have
okay.
just
Well, there.
misspoke. Because I don't think he ever delivered
Did
papers.
you
on
ever
the bike.
deliver papers?
Yeah, I delivered.
I delivered papers.
Penny saver.
I just couldn't afford a Walkman when I did it. That's what it was really interesting about Joe, but I think it was his car stereo he was hearing the Ghetto Boys in.
I'm pretty sure though I got the penny saver, delivered it for like a week, and I was like,
Gangsta
"Fuck
boogie.
this."
Yeah, no one likes it.
Gangsta
No
boogie.
one likes it.
Gangsta boogie.
All right, let's move on. We got to give this chick some.
Oh, and
Couple of
it was just cool that Willie D wrote all of Bushwick Bill's.
That happens a lot in rap.
Well, no, I realized that. I just didn't know that. And how many are there out there that are actually the brains of the operation? Because I think Scarface is his own stuff, but there's other raps that
Did you
happens.
guys notice that when he was telling the story about Bushwick getting in the fight with his wife, he was like, yeah, then he threatened to throw the baby down the stairs. Like he totally
Yeah,
glossed
dude,
over
he's-
that part. I was
when he
like,
said that, I was like,
what
"Whoa,
is
whoa,
going
what?"
on here?
No, he thought that was hyperbole anyway.
I just love though how he was like, Bill, the kind of guy to be like, "You're gonna shoot me, shoot me."
No, it was amazing. It was amazing, refreshing, and really helped with our diversity quotient, which is what happened with this last podcast.
There we go. All right, 1571.
Rate it.
He rated it. He gave it a fucking 1.
Give it a 3.5.
You gave Emily Harrington a 3.5.
We don't rate. Oh, you're done with it. Oh, that's what
Why
you're
do we-
saying.
No,
Well, okay,
I'm not going to do that.
She's a super nice girl.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
I actually respect her
Yeah.
a lot more than Alex Hanold.
Whoa.
Hamhold? What do we call him?
Handheld.
How so?
Hamhold. How so? She uses ropes. Have you guys given any like substantial thought to what Alex Hamhold does?
I watched the movie. It fucked me up.
He is pretty much saying to himself every time he goes up there.
Maybe this is the last time.
Not because people say that in a lot of cases, but it's like this probably is the last time.
Okay, but let's keep in mind, he went up there faster than her and didn't fall because the stakes were that much higher.
Don't fucking stand up for Alex Hamhold.
Okay.
There is nothing admirable
apologies.
about what that guy is
I'm
doing.
so sorry.
Is there? I mean, prove me wrong, Maddie.
Simon,
I
I agreed.
have that
Listen,
little sign. I'm sitting at the table.
Simon, I agreed with you.
Alex Hamhold has no redeeming qualities. Prove me
Change
wrong.
my mind. It's changed my mind, dickhead.
Whatever. Change my mind.
Fucking Crowder
But
over here.
even with ropes, you could kill yourself climbing a mountain.
Yeah. And that's why, like, what she's doing is scary and crazy and unbelievable, but she has enough common sense to know that humans are fallible.
What if Hamhold lives till he's 80 and dies of like
He's the
pancreatic
goat.
cancer?
He's the goat.
I think he's doing a disservice to the youth to give them the idea that that's fucking okay in any way.
I don't think anyone after if they climb up a rock 20 feet thinks, yeah, I think we're going to go the rest of this without ropes. I think the majority of people like the ropes.
I think lots of people watched his movie and were like, okay, this is now my goal.
Yeah,
is
and then
to
they
climb
start to do it and say,
without
this is not my goal. My goal is just to survive.
Simon, I bet if you polled,
ropes. Okay.
I bet
I just don't see people seeing what he does. He
You
might be a
don't
deterrent.
think that him making that movie is going to make more people try and fail and die than him not making that movie?
I don't think as many people who now want to be windsuiters.
I think you're crazy. There's a part of the population who wants to do crazy things. They don't even know they exist yet, you know?
No, but I think he might challenge established rock climbers to challenge themselves that way. But I don't think.
yeah, isn't that how we innovate? Isn't that how we
I don't think you're
progress?
going to get anyone off their couch like, I wasn't doing anything, but now they saw that guy climb without ropes. It's time to tackle something.
Why are we innovating? Why do we need to climb without the ropes? What are we doing?
I'm just curious. So, like, how does it affect you if Alex Hamhold dies up there?
I told you. I think he is
A bad influence.
a bad influence on the youth. That's the best I can come up
But
with.
stop, because hold on.
it's mostly
It's just
it makes me angry.
So one
Simon-
particular discipline.
Yeah.
If he dies, it shows the youth what he's doing is dangerous. And if he continues on,
Shows that
I don't
anything's
want
possible.
anybody to die who's not a bad person.
Well, you saw
I
how he
don't
treated
really-
his girlfriend.
I don't really think Alex Hamhold, just from the whatever 3 times he's been on Rogan, twice, I don't think he's a bad person. And yet,
It's so true. It's so true what she said, though, about a relationship, eh?
oh yeah, we're talking
Everyone's
about
like,
her.
it was like, I don't want to date someone who climbs a mountain. Then you're not going to see them much and have anything in common. You're sort of screwed into having a relationship with someone who climbs mountains.
The crazy person.
If you're a mountain climbing or any of these.
How about sleeping on the
disciplines.
mountain? That to me is the craziest part.
that guy was up there 17 days, carrying around 17 days worth of feces.
That's the
just
crazy part.
having to live
I'd shit off the edge.
vertically like that must be so weird.
No, you're in a tent. It's like a canopy tent.
Yeah,
thing.
I know. It's insane.
Well, once you're inside, it's not. It's like you're in a tent.
Oh no. You can just like, I'm not here anymore. That's how strong your
Well,
will
no, but
is.
if you're sitting on the edge, you're like, oh, I'm this high above. But when you close up the tent, you're just in this little space.
But you know where you are.
Well, I think anything could happen in a tent.
I'll put it to you this way,
Right,
Simon.
Can you help me out here?
Well, no, because I want to help
You
myself
only
out a little
can-
bit.
You can only be in this tent if you can climb up 200 feet or climb up something that takes you 3 days to climb.
Well-
Never going to happen to me.
Kamar, what I'm contending is if you sleep in the harness out in the open, or if you sleep in that tent, you're still fucking a million feet off
The
the
harness,
ground.
I think, is more of a mind fuck. You can actually see you're hanging above the ground.
Okay, so for you, it's just all the visual. You can like,
Well, that's what you just
can
said.
disassociate at 200,000 feet in a tiny little tent and just be like, these are walls.
Simon.
This is the same.
Yeah, I
this is
assume-
just like being in a cabin.
Like I said, you don't recreational camp on the side of a mountain.
Well, that's what I was going to say is Simon, or to her point, I think once you've set that thing up, there's not a lot of time to think like, oh man, you're just asleep. You've been climbing all day and you're like, I have all day tomorrow to climb. And then the day after that. And then hopefully I'm at the top of this fucking thing.
I mean, maybe.
I'd be concerned rolling off if you're just sleeping saw ropes or anything.
You're
on
never
a
sleeping saw
mat.
ropes. Even in the tent, you still have ropes on.
Yeah, so.
The tent does nothing. That's my point, Kamar. All it does is block your view of what's
And the
down
rain,
there.
possibly.
And the rain. Fair enough.
I just don't
But
know
you
about-
could have like a fucking umbrella hat.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw it in like a mountain climbing magazine. Like, I can't believe people do that.
I can't believe people do that.
But to saying that, you only do that if you're climbing something that takes 3 days.
We only think that's normal because Alex Handhold climbed the thing with no fucking ropes. That's what this is all about. You see what happens, Matt?
But hold on, Simon. So let me ask you this. If you're Alex Hamhold and you love climbing, but like you, the thought of sleeping on the side of that mountain is just far too much.
Yeah.
But you love climbing and you want to get up El Capitan. So you got to go no ropes
Why do you have to go no ropes?
because it takes too long with ropes.
No, I don't believe that.
Yes, that's what they say.
You can't climb with ropes in one day?
Yeah.
No, that's bullshit.
If you want to be mentioned as something special.
That's bullshit.
Is it bullshit?
It is.
Google it. Can you climb El Cap with ropes in under a day?
I'm going to Google it
Okay,
right now.
please do.
In any event,
Right
You
when
ever
you
sp-
need Kamar's stupid Siri to fucking do
where
something
is she?
useful.
Yeah.
I shut her up. We have respect for mountain climbers or anyone who does these extreme events, but it almost has a why do I care? And I think the reason why she was on is she accomplished her feat, being the first woman to do it, and to clear her name. That somehow social media had said she was this when someone else had done it before.
I love that it's not even social media. It's a small group of weird climbers on social
Yeah,
media. You know
because
what
I
I mean?
still
Like,
don't know who Emily
there's no
Harrington is. I
fucking.
never
That's what I'm
knew this
saying.
It's literally 3 people.
Yeah, there's no way. Like
But-
someone like me was like calling this bitch out on this. No fucking chance.
Cleared her name, advertised her boyfriend's company to 6 people who were.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I'm sure there's people who want to go on adventures. It was cool time with the dead people on Everest.
Yeah, we're stupid. That's exactly what she's talking about. She did it in under 24 hours. And Lynn Hill
Yeah.
was the first lady to do, the first person to do it.
Okay, but that's my
ropes.
point. Is most people don't do it in under a day with ropes. There's only been like 5 people.
Okay. Well, but it can be done. So all I'm saying is Alex Hamhold could be one of those people. He doesn't have to be the guy who does it without ropes.
Maybe his hands are allergic to nylon.
What is the fucking point of doing it without the ropes?
What is pulling the truck?
What is pulling the truck, Kamar?
Pushing
I have a
yourself to
better
the
question.
limits.
I have a better question. If you remember in the film, there's a point where he says to the director, "I almost last night drove up here alone and did it on my own." Now, that to me reeks of something much deeper and weirder.
Because the guy's been following him around for the past 3 years.
Not even that. It's like you're up there, you're going to tell people you did it, and they're all going to be like, "But you had this camera crew with you and you decided not to film it?" Okay, Alex. You know what I mean? Like Simon, if you the
that's
alien guy,
crazy. That's
if you the
crazy.
alien guy start carrying around a camera with you 24/7, and 5 years down the road, you come to me and you go, "Matt, I saw an alien last night," and I go, "I can't wait to see the footage," and you go, "You know what? Forgot the camera." Like, I don't know.
And plus, Netflix is not going to pay you for a story. They need the footage.
I just want. Can I say something?
You can say
Just
whatever you want. It's your podcast.
As far as aliens go,
Mhm.
there's no fucking. If an UFO actually came down in front of you, you would be so scared. There is no way you would pull out your phone. I can't see it.
Well, couldn't you also argue that if they
You
can
would
shut
be-
down? Couldn't you also argue if they can shut down national defense that they could shut down your camera?
Well, that too, but no, I'm just saying. Imagine the mind fuck that would be. Like, try and put
First thing I'm
yourself
doing is get
in
my
those
camera.
shoes.
The first thing.
Have you seen
Dude,
Fargo?
You are
Spaceships coming down?
probably-
Simon?
You probably shit yourself. You piss
I'm calling
yourself.
you at least. I have
You
no
don't
my phone
even
for
know
that.
what to do.
Have you seen Fargo season 2?
Yeah, I've seen all the Fargos.
Well, do you remember aliens are like a small part of season 2?
No.
So the season 2 is the crux of it is that young Gerhard kid goes to tell the judge that she has to rule a certain way, and he ends up shooting the judge, the cook, and then the
Right.
waitress outside. Then he sees an alien, and that's when the chick hits him with the car.
Right. Okay.
And then the alien comes back later on during the big shootout, and it's like distracting everyone. I don't know. I just thought that was funny because I watched it yesterday, and I thought of you instantly.
I forgot that even had any.
Aliens, right? Yeah.
mention in it. We've been doing this thing at home.
Movie hour.
We've been doing movie hour. Get rid of the phones for the movie. Everybody gets rid of their phones.
Wait a second. You were supposed to watch a movie with your son.
What movie was I supposed to watch?
You didn't watch it, obviously.
I don't know. We did. We
was Deep
watched a
Throat.
bunch of movies. No, we weren't going to watch Deep Throat.
Wasn't Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Was it?
No, it wasn't.
But we did. We watched a bunch of movies. Anyways,
Well, what movies did you watch?
we watched a whole shit ton of movies. But what I'm getting at is my daughter's criteria is when she picks a movie, it has to be a Christmas movie. But I've been pulling a lot of like Die Hards.
I
You
knew
wouldn't
it.
believe how many movies have
Yeah, of
Christmas
course.
in them for a moment.
Yeah.
And that's all I need, boys,
Yeah.
is a moment.
You get to pick all the movies, and the audience gives you a criteria they want you to adhere to.
It's like he's not even here.
What? With
Simon,
my family being the audience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
did you watch 1, 2, Die Hard's 1 and 2?
We
Or
haven't. She refuses to acknowledge Die Hard as a Christmas movie.
Halima?
No, my daughter.
Oh, interesting. Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie.
My wife also doesn't acknowledge it as a Christmas movie.
Bloodsport.
Okay, do you really want to get into this? Because Die Hard, is it a Christmas movie? It takes place at a Christmas party,
That's
Yeah.
all you need.
but there's nothing else
the
about
Christmas
it that
motif
makes
is
it-
all over Die
And it's a
Hard.
happy
Yeah, I know,
ending.
but there's no like Christmas redeeming lessons.
Family is
There's
the
no-
theme.
Family. He's trying to get home
No.
for Christmas.
Guys.
What are we doing here?
Come
What
on.
are we doing here?
Then that's
Hold on,
then
stop.
That's the motto of any.
No. Listen, Die Hard 2, you could argue, is not a Christmas movie.
Oh, it definitely isn't a Christmas.
Die Hard 1, however.
movie.
Put it
Die
this
Hard
way.
2 happens in the snow, but it's not.
Listen to this. Die Hard 1 rides a unicycle down the line of what isn't a Christmas movie, and occasionally its feet touch both sides. That's it.
That I'll give you.
Okay?
I'll give you that.
Down the elevator shaft. That's about to go on.
There we go. I got to say this, though.
It's not a hill I'm gonna die on.
Real quick, on the Die Hard tip, the first 5 minutes of Die Hard with a Vengeance are it might be my favorite intro to a movie ever.
Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. If you remember
It's
correctly.
chopped off in the neighborhood.
Yeah, there's a big explosion, and then they pick John McClane up all hungover, and they're like, we have cops like 8 blocks away, and they're watching him. He's like 8 blocks, and the whole time it's what's going on here? And then-
Why is this such a big
why
deal?
is this what's going on? And then they put him in the middle of Harlem, and he's got just a sandwich board on, and then you see what it says on the sandwich board, because they're like, Uncle, there's a white man. He's like, yeah, I've seen one before. Go to school. And then Samuel Jackson walks out. That is
And I think
incredible.
someone breaks a bottle. Like it's about
Yeah, and they throw a knife in
Let's
the
play
sandwich
a-
board.
it's a movie game.
Is the rest of that movie good?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing where they have to solve all the problems to get.
I don't remember it.
And they do
I think
the.
I remember liking it.
It falls off a bit.
They think they're robbing something else, but they're robbing this. Let's do that as another movie game.
Okay, sure.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Simon, once they leave Yankee Stadium, it peters off a bit. But that movie is really good. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with this girl, and she was right. It's weird that climate change is a political issue.
Why did this girl end up on Joe Rogan? I think that's
To write her name to the six
She
people.
probably lives in Austin, and she was bouldering in Austin, and Joe needed guests. I don't know. It was a slow week.
Maybe
Obviously.
Alex Hamhold called them and was like, "Listen, this girl's getting a bum rap through this thing. She's actually a hero, and she deserves to be on." That's it. I'm going with that. I answered my own question.
Here's her future movie games when you try to stump someone with Dance with Wolves. Directed by John McTiernan. Die Hard with a Vengeance, starring Bruce Willis, Jeremy Irons, Samuel Jackson, Graham Greene.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's a
So
cop in it. Yeah.
That's a new step off.
Remember?
Yeah, but
'cause
what-
the movie game we did.
Colin
yeah,
Camp, Larry Brett.
He takes such
Bring him in.
weird routes to get to things.
What do you mean? What's a weird route? Last week you stumped me on Graham Greene because I couldn't remember his name,
Yeah, no, I know.
and I just said now in the future if he comes out, if someone tries to throw
Yeah, Simon.
Dance Wolves at you, you say
fucking
Graham
idiot.
Greene, and then
Yeah, I know. I was
My
with
bad.
Yeah, it's not a roundabout way. It's just
Simon, do you have the year yet for Vengeance?
Not a roundabout way. It's like a fucking Quentin Tarantino movie. You like gave us the end first and then expected us all to come back to the same fucking place.
because I just got excited because I saw his name. Sorry, man. Fucking sue me. And Jackie Chang was in it.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
Was in what? Die Hard with a Vengeance?
Yep.
No, I think that's
No, it
Jackie
wasn't.
Chang. That might
No,
be.
I just made that up to
Okay.
see if you know. But Simon will believe anything. Mocha.
What year do you have, Simon?
Why would I not believe that? Because
you saw the movie. You
Part
know.
in the movie? I don't fucking know. I just asked you if it was good.
Simon, what year did Die Hard with a Vengeance come out? So that we can wrap this fucking thing up.
2005.
Okay, I said 99.
1995.
Whoa.
fuck.
10
Wow.
years.
Way back.
Way back. So when did the first Die Hard come out then? In like,
Oh, like 80.
1976?
No, like 88.
89,
89. Yeah, I was going to say. Something like that.
All right. So this was in 2000 and... What did we say?
95.
1995.
2000 and minus 5 years.
1995.
All right, I'm ready. That was a lot of silence. That was a
Die
lot
Hard
of dead
was
air.
88. No, people realize this is serious.
A lot of dead air for a podcast.
I was
there.
looking up the year. The original Die Hard
Was
came
88?
88.
At Christmas?
No, July 15th. That's why it's not a Christmas movie.
Okay, that's insane.
That's why
Hold
it's
on,
not
though.
Christmas
Wait. Are you fucking dead serious?
I'm just reading what the internet
What
tells
is he
me.
saying? What? I missed that. Sorry.
Matt is sure that Die Hard came out at Christmas time, and that's why it's a Christmas
'Cause
movie,
he
not
said-
because of
he
Christmas.
said
It's not. It didn't come out at Christmas.
Hold
time.
on.
Well, you're not listening.
It did not come out at Christmas time.
It came out July 15th.
It's not a Christmas.
It's a summer
movie.
blockbuster.
now I'm-
Summer blockbuster that takes place at a Christmas party. I'm telling you,
It's a
Matty.
Christmas movie in my heart.
It's not a Christmas movie.
Well, now I mean, I don't know what to do anymore. Do you have numbers written
Nothing
down, Simon?
means
Yeah, I have
anything.
numbers
Nothing means anything.
All right. I said it cost $36 million, which is in retrospect way too high, and it made $110.4.
Wow, we're really close, Maddie. I said it cost $29 million because I figured big also.
Well, and on the
A
strength
lot
of
of
two,
effects.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
Samuel Jackson, Bruce Willis doesn't get out of
they
bed
gave
for less than $10
mall
million.
rats like 9.
There you go.
Anyways, and 122.
We're so close.
Yeah, the budget was $90 million.
Whoa, fucking whoa. Well, our thinking was right.
9-0?
9-0.
Well, then it definitely made more than 122.
Oh, it did.
Must have made 500.
366 million.
366. Wow.
And we'll play the add-on movie game starting with Samuel Jackson.
Pulp Fiction.
John Travolta.
Don't do it to me. Don't fucking do it to me.
Face Off.
Nicolas Cage.
Leaving. Oh, I don't want to do that. Hold on.
You know what? Hold on. Can I say something? You have to play this game with an odd number of people.
So that's good. 'Cause
Well,
there's
it is
odd of
for us, but I'm just thinking.
one gets the actor, one
Well,
gets the movie.
because then you'd constantly be doing the movie, right? I guess you'd switch every round.
I've done it with one other person. You just keep feeding them.
Fair
lines.
enough. Fair enough.
Um,
I did Nick Cage, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so National Treasure.
Wow, what a piece of.
No, I know. I'll go back to my first one. What? Leaving Las Vegas.
That's Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, and now we're back in this hole again. Like, we're done. Can we rate this chick if we're really going to do movie games all fucking day? No? Or do we want to talk more
What
about...
a weird way to defer and lose, eh?
Yeah, I lose. I feel bad because my brother-in-law owns a rock climbing gym, and I feel like we're not giving this any due.
And my son really likes rock climbing.
yeah, my sister's a rock climber.
I'd given it the two.
both
I
my
was, I was
sisters.
super excited about the Olympic bouldering.
So
and the
tell us
speed
all
climbing.
about what you got, Kamar. Let's go.
Well, no one wants to hear me talk about it again.
I'm glad skateboarding's in.
They covered the three
We
events.
didn't talk about the Olympics.
They covered the 3 events, and well, because they're not coming, but the one climbing, the speed climb doesn't look physically possible. They go
It's
up
crazy.
so
The
fast.
speed climb is crazy.
yeah, that's why you can imagine why people are like, the rope is pulling them up, right? Because it looks like it.
Because it looks like it, but it's just a guide for if they fall. And it really is a good, like, you know, we said sometimes sports in the Olympics are fucked up because of judging or whatever. The fact that it's in 3 disciplines is a pretty good test of the climbers.
Except not all the climbers do all the disciplines.
But I
so
bet
it
you
just
there's
seems weird.
she didn't say this, but I figure there's an event for all 3 and
yeah,
an
yeah,
all-rounder.
probably. Kind of like gymnastics.
I think so.
Did you guys see the video of the cat climbing the rock wall,
No.
like an indoor rock wall gym.
Interesting.
It was so crazy, Maddie, because
Like
imagine
a mountain goat?
like a mountain goat, but at some points having to do like way crazier jumps than a mountain goat
Yeah,
can do
of course.
they can like hold
yeah,
on
because
with their
cats
little
are fucking nimble as shit.
It was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Cats are fucked.
I also saw a video of a woman, or it's actually a couple, and they're in like a plane, a kind of biplane thing. It's open, and all of a sudden she looks
Cessna.
up, and no, it's even more open than that. It's like one of those frame planes.
Sure.
She looks up, and there's a fucking cat.
The cat, I've seen that
that's
one,
been
yeah.
up in the air with her the whole time.
No, it's the driver, the guy
And
who's
she
like,
does no, she sees it. The woman sees
Okay.
it, and she doesn't even react, dude. She's cool as a cucumber. She's just like, oh, a cat.
dude, you see the guy
I
fucking...
didn't see it.
I saw one the other day of a guy hang gliding, and the guy, it's like tandem hang gliding, and the guy forgets to hook him up.
Oh my god.
Oh, then all of a sudden he's holding onto the guy's body, right?
Yeah,
It's a-
it's
yeah, I saw
fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Luckily, the guy lands it, and the guy ends up with just a torn bicep from holding on for dear
That's a
fucking
loss.
life.
I told you my fucking Canada's Wonderland story.
I don't know.
So we went to, really short. Went to Canada's Wonderland in whatever
A year.
high school
Mm-hmm.
or junior high, and we were on the pirate ship that goes upside down. I don't, you know which one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. I think you have told me the story.
And
Yeah.
you hang up there, and I think they just didn't click my thing down, because it goes click, click,
Yeah.
click, click. So maybe they didn't click the last one down enough, so it was sitting in between two clicks. And when we got to the top,
It clicked down.
it clicked down,
Yeah.
and I went, oh fuck. And then I didn't know if it was loose, so I spent the whole time like
Gripped on for dear life.
pushing it to myself and trying to force gravity into my butt, to try and dude,
Well, if you're going to
I've
tell
never
your
been more scared.
Canada's Wonderland story, I've got to tell mine again. When I was 8 years old, I got lost at Canada's Wonderland. And I don't know if you noticed, but my name, Kamar, sometimes mumbled or can be sound like Mark.
Kamar.
I've heard, when I hear people say Mark, sometimes I think they're saying Kamar.
Okay. I mean, I haven't grown up with your name, so it'd be tough.
You didn't have that burden.
Yeah.
And the officials at the park heard my name was Mark. And I was 8,
Oof.
so they were looking for a Mark.
All day.
So I got yelled at for giving them the wrong name when I was reunited with my family. It was traumatic.
By your family?
Yeah.
Simon, have you seen the video? You know the slingshot? It's the one that all the people pass out on. It's where it's like 2 bungee cords that go up.
Yeah, that thing's stupid.
So there's this one of this slightly rotund ginger kid, and I guess his like aunt or mom, and this kid clearly isn't strapped in enough. And when they go up, he immediately starts slipping out of the harness to where like the harness is just
you're scared
up to
for
his
him.
neck. And the mom doesn't, dude, she is not aware of anything. And this kid is holding on for dear fucking life.
That's going to cause trauma and some
Oh.
issues down the road.
That's how I felt though. That like
Of
when
course,
I was
yeah.
upside
Was your
down
mom
there-
beside you unaware you were dying?
No, I was there. We were there with a class trip. It wasn't with my parents.
Well, that's good. It's
Nobody knew what I was feeling.
causing damage. And,
And then I never talked about
Of
it
course
either
not.
because I
No.
didn't want to be embarrassed.
Can't be a
you know
pussy.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I survived.
And you survived. Yeah, you can't. What are you going to tell? I didn't die on the ride?
Or maybe I did say. Maybe I was bragging about how I had a broken fucking thing. I
It's
don't know.
not your fault.
Bragging about it. I bought a t-shirt.
Sounds like
I survived the pirate ship.
I survived the upside down pirate ship. It was actually a spaceship, I think, in retrospect.
Okay. My bad.
She's right, though. Environmentalism should be a bipartisan issue.
Yeah.
And that's it. She's a nice person.
She was a really nice person.
Super nice person.
I just
Sometimes I thought it was I closed my eyes, it was Reese Witherspoon.
Do you do that often? Just close your eyes and picture Reese
Sometimes
Witherspoon?
people sound like people.
Okay.
there's no way to speed up YouTube, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there is. There's
yeah.
a speed up button.
Yeah, there is.
Interesting.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I
It's
think this is the
gone,
last one ever on Joe Rogan
Really?
without Spotify.
which is crazy.
Unless you're right. Did you
Even
look
that,
into
no,
it?
I didn't look into it. I don't care. Either way, it's either now or 30 days from now, right? So it's not that big a deal. I mean, for
Well,
you, okay.
It's a big deal. Just changes hard, but it's a sort of disappointed this was the last of.
Okay, I want to
An
touch on.
era.
I just want to touch on one last thing real quick. It's so funny you brought that up. I find this so ironic about advertising. It's like the beast eating itself. YouTube the other day, I went to watch one of these, and the ad that came on before was a Spotify ad announcing that Joe Rogan is moving specifically to Spotify.
There's no thinking going on with that program.
That's what I'm saying. Is it's like we'll take your ad money, even though it conflicts directly with money we would be making. You know what I mean? Like it's such a weird paradoxical.
It just makes me think that YouTube owns Spotify.
No, because Google owns YouTube.
And
Fair
Google
enough.
owns Spotify.
Oh, maybe. All right, let's rate this and then
It's the end of an era.
start with you, Kumar. What do you want to rate this one?
I give this a 2.5
I give it a 1.
because it was
I'll give it a 2.
a two-hour
Listen,
podcast.
She's a nice chick. I'm glad it was only 2 hours. I'm not into rock climbing. I'm not into taking care of myself. So this didn't check any boxes for me.
No, and there's nothing revealed.
Nope. No Holtzman joke.
Just talking about dead people on the side of the mountain. That's good.
I like her because she's not Alex Hanholt.
And she made it a diverse week.
She
Is
uses
this like a Jeopardy
ropes.
someone who wasn't in my kitchen thing?
No.
Okay.
It's like
So do you just like everyone who isn't Alex Hanholt?
any rock climber
Okay.
who's doing El Capitan
Yeah.
in under 24 hours wearing
using ropes. Okay.
is my that's who I'm behind,
Okay.
not behind Alex Hanholt.
Do you
I
think
think
the
it's
future?
reckless
Do you
and
think in the
careless.
future climbers will use drones?
Do I think in the future climbers will use drones
So
like
instead
to
of
be able to
hooking-
catch
Yeah.
them? Like with nets? That would be
Not even. No.
fucking
So you're
amazing.
tethered to a drone,
Oh.
and the drone is just constantly 20 feet above you.
Dude, that's
That's
such
what
a
that
good
Audi
idea.
truck does.
Oh, that Audi thing is amazing. But that's a great idea. That's a great idea, Matt. Or you know what? Even better yet, if you're gonna scale El Capitan, wear a parachute.
Have you seen it though?
No, because if you fall like she did and hit your head, you're fucked.
Yeah, you are. That's right.
That's where the drone comes in.
But you could wear a no, you're right. A drone. Drone's the way.
Have you seen the drone truck on the video?
I have, yeah.
Because all the drones are up top.
I saw
down
it.
there in the front, eh?
What do you mean? They were up front.
They're up front, up top though.
Yeah.
Like they're all together. There's more than 2 drones.
There's 4 drones.
Yeah.
I just love the
one
idea-
off each hubcap.
I thought they come off the headlights.
Don't you love the thought of driving down like the LA freeway and there's just 65,000
Oh, it
drones
does- it
over
doesn't- it
everyone's
doesn't
fucking
work.
car?
It
Like,
doesn't work.
Oh, this is for off-road adventures where
yeah,
no one is.
obviously.
And it can only be for automated driving.
I guess, yeah.
Like it would
Some
be for
fucking
you.
Yahoo
it
in
would
the
be
country.
for you
just-
to watch, but how would you possibly keep up? Like, or I guess maybe
No,
it
the
could
drones,
be.
they're
Yeah.
automated.
No, you're right. You're right. It would
It's
be
just like the
fine.
drone you
It would
buy
be
now
fine.
that-
it would be
yeah,
fine. Yeah. No, that was a stupid point.
All right, we
Edit
rated
that
it.
out.
Thank you so much for. Should we? No, we'll record something separately after this.
Or you can just announce it on the Patreon post show.
Well, either way, we're gonna do something. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you made it this far, that's absolutely incredible. You can follow us on Instagram. It's JREE Podcast. Also on Twitter, JREE Podcast. You can follow Kamar on Instagram.
At Kamara Bar for the news and the weather.
Oh, you do the news now too?
No.
Okay. You can-
Well, I do a news fact. Once upon a time in history.
Okay. So there you go. You can follow Kamar for that. We have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/JREE podcast. Maybe don't join annually right now. Would probably be your best bet. But you can join for as little as $5 a month, and you might get some extra stuff for that. There's a YouTube. Please join the YouTube, youtube.com/JREE podcast. Even if you don't plan on watching, just fucking sign up. Just makes our life easier.
Like and subscribe.
Just hit subscribe. You don't have to like, just subscribe. Let us get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. And I think that's it. Did I miss any? No. I never miss shit. Thank you so much. We hope you have a great weekend. If you're on the Patreon, stick around for the post show. And as usual,
Keep your eyes open.